We're on. Three deep. Jack, hello. What's up?
Stop, Rich. Wish I was a little healthier. Oh well, I'll do my best to mute it when I cough.
NBA playoff time, flu game.
hmm
BK, what was your greatest basketball accomplishment? What's like the number one highlight that you've had that you think back upon
Uh,
in
I
game?
I
Not the dunk that
Oh,
continuously
I was
happens.
gonna say that's an impressive
Not
record.
the
I've
That's
one
not
his
not
life.
in-game
dribbling the
dunk.
basketball.
You
I've won
do?
one in game and it was on someone.
No way.
Yeah.
Was it one of
And
those ones where like you just jump before him and then that they jump and they like raise you up you're going up, so you're jumping a foot higher than typical?
it was just like it was perfect situation. I picked off an inbounds pass. I was at about half court. We just had a transition. And so the guy was stuck under the basket with no one in front of him. So he threw one to a guy like 5 feet in front of half court. And I ran up, caught it in stride, took two dribbles. He stepped out from under the basket. As I rose, he expected a layup. And I went for it. And just put it right down, turned sideways, cocked it.
One hand, bow.
Yeah, landed. We both fell in a heap on the ground. And the ref was so just not prepared for it. He didn't call a foul.
There was no foul.
I got clobbered, got it down, and should have got an and one on it. That was probably the single greatest thing I ever did.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that right
It was
there.
one of
Like
those-
you forced him into a different sport probably after that.
Yeah, as I gathered, I thought I'm doing it. And then I came to as the rim popped. I have no memory of in between. I just blacked out in the air.
Did you get up, tapping your head,
No,
letting them
man.
know? No,
No, that foolishness didn't exist back then.
you could.
How
I thought
off-
you could have started it.
How often did people on your team dunk during games? Because I remember like that was a big deal during a game. Like the next day at school, it'd be like, "You hear that this guy dunked during the game?" Like
This wasn't a
sure.
school league, unfortunately. We
Oh,
got
gotcha.
my senior year, we got 0 dunks down.
Okay.
I missed one.
Did
I
it?
missed
What
a
was it?
putback dunk.
Was it summer league or AAU situation?
Yeah, it was a non-school affiliated league.
That's still pretty awesome. Yeah, like I mentioned in our group text the other week, the dude moved in who was a sophomore my senior year who could like dunk in traffic. So he would dunk like
It's not me.
he would dunk like once a game.
Just to do it.
Yeah, it would be awesome.
We
You
had a
like, backdoor cut.
We had a transfer student from somewhere in the UK for one semester. I think his dad got a job or something in the US for a few months. And he came over and he went to our school. And in his first game, he broke the backboard. And that was like, you want to be the cool kid at school? You break a backboard in high school. That means a lot. So yeah, Steve definitely got some respect after that.
Busted ass backboard up there in
Yeah.
Manch, Vegas, New Hampshire.
Yeah.
You didn't have to tighten that thing for like 30 years and suddenly
Yeah.
When it's just when half the team was only tapping the backboard.
Yeah. I could dunk in high school. I wasn't on the
Could you?
basketball team, but I could. Yeah. Senior year. I remember the first time like touching the rim. And then that same day, I just jumped up and I grabbed it and I just hung up there on one arm. I'm like, oh, I got to go for a dunk now. And I got
you
it.
touched the rim and dunked in the same day for the first time.
Yeah.
Well, if he didn't play basketball, he probably
Yeah.
wasn't practicing that. I would do it every
Yeah.
single day. Be like, not today.
I remember
Not today.
back in like 8th grade when I was still living in Massachusetts, or maybe 7th grade, this kid, David Burke, he just got like a growth spurt ahead of everybody. And he touched the rim like during, because would be in gym class and everyone would just be trying. And like you hit the bottom of the backboard for the first time, you're like, oh, I'm above the net. I'm almost there, even though you're like still years away developmentally. But this kid, David Burke, touched the rim. And like for a week, that was all anybody was talking about when you're like 12 years old. It seemed so cool back then.
Yeah, we had a kid on our 7th, 8th grade team, my 8th grade year, or no, my 7th grade year, who dunked. And
Dang.
but
That's
he,
big.
yeah, it was huge. I'm pretty sure he made the team only because that wasn't a very wasn't a cerebral player.
Who
Put it that way.
cares? At that point,
that
he
way.
dunks.
Yeah, that's
That,
basically what the coach saw. I was like, I'll teach him something.
Yeah.
Didn't.
It's funny the progression, like trying to touch the net and then trying to touch the rubber and then trying to touch the actual glass
plastic,
and then
yeah,
touch
yeah.
rim, hang rim, two hand, and then most people stall out somewhere there. But that touching the net got me in 7th grade. I was trying to touch the net and I couldn't. So I jumped off the bleachers that pulled out way next to ours because we had a small school, and I got my finger stuck and it dislocated my finger in gym class.
Oh,
And a girl in my class was like, "Hey, my mom's a paramedic. I know what to do with this." I'm like, okay. She popped it back in, and something got stuck in there, like a tendon got something when she popped back in. Something either snapped or got stuck. And then over time, I lost use of it, so I still can't use this finger. If you look at it, like it just bounces. These
Jeez.
two, this from here down, there's nothing attached. And so because of that, my right dominant hand has weaker grip strength and it affects me in OCR.
You
What?
should have. You didn't let her know. You're like, hey,
I can't squeeze this into a knuckle.
Can I see your license?
I have a professional career ahead of me. I don't think I can let you do that.
Yeah. Could you imagine someone's like,
OCR.
oh, my dad's a lawyer. Let me just defend you in court real quick. Like my parent does blank. So
Well, you gotta
with it.
remember,
Better than
7th grade Bracken, scrawny runt. A girl's offering to touch my hand.
That's true.
Take
That it's like going
Take
all
it.
the way.
You could have said my dad's a sanitation department worker. I know what to do. And I was, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Let's go.
You should check the other fingers too.
You're not the jacked beast who ran that 800 road. I didn't realize that was like a race. I thought you just went out and did that. That was like
No, man.
Like,
I
what
mean,
is
how
it?
bad of is the race director if they mismeasured 800 meters by about
didn't.
40 meters short?
So, okay, background here. John DeWitt is a mutual friend of everyone in the running community here. He and I met at teacher orientation day. He ran at Oshkosh. He ran 30:04 in college for the 10K. At D3, that's all American status.
Yeah, really good.
He's gone on. He's run at the last 2 Olympic trials, like 2:17:30 or something like that. He is high level marathoner, and then trains with all other high end runners. And he's a track coach here. So he holds John DeWitt Fest every year for his birthday.
He calls it John DeWitt Fest.
He puts together an entire weekend for his birthday every year.
Damn.
It starts with
So
an
smart.
800-meter dash that all of his buddies come and run, which again are all All-American college runners. And then you do a wiffle ball game, and then there is a cookout and trivia night, which is usually John DeWitt trivia, and this year was expanded to general trivia. So it's like this whole thing, but it kicks off with a race.
It's trivia about him.
John DeWitt Fest. It's
How
him
many
or him
questions
related.
are there? Like
I've only gone to trivia 1 year, but there were like 59 questions.
Okay,
wow,
that's a lot.
Okay.
And all of his buddies played, not all, but he's in like 2 trivia leagues, so it's like they run it like a real trivia night.
yeah.
He MCs since he can't answer his own trivia. Anyway, so
100,
it used to be hosted on the track, and then during COVID, the tracks were locked down, and since he coaches at the school, couldn't get on the track because if someone showed up and it was an employee doing it, he'd be in a lot of trouble. So he moved it to a road race on the Loop. The Loop is where he does all of his interval training, 752 meters around the perimeter of a neighborhood block. So that's why it's held there. So it's an official, unofficial race, and it's intentionally not an official distance because the official distance is 1 loop.
Is the Loop. Okay.
Gotcha.
What's the record on the Loop?
The record is 151.
Oof.
So what is it? What would that be, like a 158?
We're not sure. Okay, so the guy who ran that year ran 402 or 404 indoor in a mile, like a month prior. So we don't know what it really means, because it starts off semi-flat, then it goes uphill, and then it goes downhill, and then it finishes flat. And there's 90-degree turn. So it's like we were running 320 pace down the hill, and then you try to take a 90-degree turn and you come off that shot. Like you can't even guess what the 800 would be, but it's standalone loop time. There's a Strava segment for it.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like that it's its own thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't prescribe to anyone's preconceptions about what a road 800 meter should be.
Gotcha.
If that is a thing, a road 800. Haven't heard of it. Roads 752 though.
Nick Riker probably found a road 800.
Straight downhill. You lose. You lose 500 feet in 800 meters.
In
He
800.
told me he's going sub 420 or he's retiring. And he's also going sub 16 this year or retiring.
He already went 419.99.
No, he wants to do it. Well, he mentioned actually doing something on a track, and I was like, "Yeah."
Oh,
He's like,
okay.
There's a big difference.
huge difference. But
In like the Nashville summer. Good luck with that.
Nighttime though, 9 p.m. track race.
well,
That's
Twilight.
true.
Never
That's-
a better time to run a mile than that.
Yeah.
So anyways, yes, to answer your question, it was an official 752. Not mismeasured.
Meters. Yep. Okay.
All right, squad. We have some hybrid stuff to talk about today, as we did last week as well. So let's kick it off with some DEKAFIT. You guys both watched?
Of course.
It was a pretty, because I mean, we hyped it up. It lived up. Let's start on the women's end. Podium there was Lauren Weeks, no surprise. Calypso Sheridan coming second. And then Nicole Mericle coming up third. My first takeaway is I was impressed. I was impressed by Nicole.
I was really impressed.
I didn't think it was possible to run as fast as she did. Like, or not run, but like complete the course as fast as she did while giving up as much time as she did. That's what I was impressed with, because like she was bleeding time on certain stations and she was still in the fight for the most part.
She must have not practiced the step overs at all. I have a YouTube video. Maybe I'll send it to her.
I think that was more ACL related, and she's still not confident landing. Did
you watch it though?
She was like spinning around. Like there was no.
I know, no,
idea
but she
spent like the first 10 reps figuring out what to do.
But she posted a story the day before or 2 days before. She's like, I'm going to try this technique because it feels, safe or something. She did that a couple days before. And I know she was
on a wobbly foam box or like
on a standard 24-inch. That's what it looked like. But
was it foam?
I don't remember at this point. I just remember her doing that. And I'm like, you're doing like the dizzy bat right there, doing all these spins. But
I will. Okay. So I got done watching these. And I'm talking about myself in order to talk about Nicole. Yes. I got done watching and got so fired up. I fired off a message to Rich and said, I'm doing a full DEKA sim right now, which I've never done a DEKA. And I did one strong, but I've never done one with running. So I set up, it took me like an hour to set this thing up.
Did it?
So annoying.
So the adrenaline's all gone. Yeah.
Yeah. It was the longest warm up of my life. And I get in and box jumps took me by surprise. Coming in with high heart rate, gasping, chopping my feet into them and coming up over and feeling that thing shake. And it's not like practicing it. Coming in, that thing bounces and moves when you're trying to work while you're not quite as precise as you would be doing it in the middle of just like a workout. So I was impressed with her. She learned on the fly very well. And she showed even like on the rower, she showed the raw skill early on, which she didn't have the technique or engine to hold, but she showed the ability to hold 145 for a little bit.
No, she was like 155. And I wouldn't say that
she early on and then she faded, but she has the skeletal system, the bones of a race to be at Worlds. I'm going to
disagree with you, Bracken. I don't think that she started strong in the rower because she sat down and didn't sit on the seat. So that was not starting out strong.
Semantics. Anyways, Nicole, I was blown away. I was really impressed. I was proud of you.
Yeah, she did really well. Like, and her run was still pretty solid. Her run was faster than Lauren's.
1907 for Nicole, 1912 for Lauren. So,
yeah,
but that just shows you Lauren's speed.
Lauren's her mod. That's Miss
I know.
Mod.
It's crazy though, but this is Nicole that we're talking about, and
we've never seen Nicole in something like this. We don't know. We've seen Nicole sprint out in front of a bunch of OCR athletes who high end ability level.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing.
I was impressed though, coming off the lunges. I think Nicole had the fastest lunges. She was out of there first. And then Lauren just no, I'm going to throw up a surge and then try to pass you and, not throwing elbows, but doing a little rubbing right there to try to make a move on her. And
this is my
Lauren
house.
Just doesn't know how to slow down.
This is my house.
Yeah.
I'm going to counter what you said, Rich. We've seen her against Rebecca Hammond, Rhea Coble. We've seen her against Faye Stenning. We've seen her against Renee Mativier, Kimber Maddox. We've seen her against Jack. Come on, marathoner right now. Why am I blanking on her name?
What era?
224 right now. Top.
Oh, no, Rojas. Yeah,
no Rojas. We've seen her against these women, and she takes it out on them. These are the women too, with Kimber, Renee, and Nell, who have no reason not to go out pretty quick, because quick for them is probably relaxed, and she still takes it out on them. So she has proven that she can run with real high end, and Lauren didn't care.
Yeah. That's funny. They do race the same way, in terms of taking it out so aggressive and just seeing who's going to come with. And Lauren was still no, me.
Yeah, I am the captain here.
But for good reason. I mean, Lauren has so much more experience, and she'll understand how it's supposed to feel. Do we think that Lauren? I mean, I can't imagine Lauren was operating anywhere close to 100% after GoRuck, because Rylan had to pull out because GoRuck beat him up so bad.
other people, Cole didn't exactly perform well after Go Ruck.
He might have.
That's true. We'll get to the guys later. I'm just thinking of another person in the same race who did Go Ruck.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, there's got to be some fatigue there for sure. I agree with that, Rich.
And her time was about the same as her time earlier this year. I don't know how much information we get from Lauren from this race. What do you guys think?
I think we saw that she's fit enough to go stride for stride early on with a fresh 90% fitness Nicole, which if there was a doubt at Hyrox Worlds, it's with Meg's new fitness, can she go out with her? That might be the doubt. So she's got that in her bag still. I think it just confirms that she is exactly who she needs to be at Hyrox Worlds.
Who's
she's
runner?
Not training for DEKA.
Yeah. Who's a better runner right now, Nicole or Meg?
Yes.
Yes.
I'd say Meg.
Meg's a better runner.
I think if they lined him up, I think they lined him up at a 5. I mean, Meg ran 17:20 solo.
That's faster than Nicole right now, definitely.
I would imagine.
Yeah, I'm just speculating at this point. Okay. Yeah. I mean, Lauren's going to be fearless. Meg's definitely the favorite at that point, though.
Yeah, Lauren's the best compromised runner we probably have right now in sport.
Either gender.
And Meg's maybe the most powerful, just best runner. And Nicole's probably the most unaffected by things runner we've ever seen in the sport, other than maybe Lindsay. Nicole's stride just looks the same always.
Yeah.
And they run so opposite. Nicole is so compact. She can't possibly degrade her stride because it starts so crisp and compact. And Lauren just opens up with this crazy extension and arm pumping from the start, and then just hammers herself to keep it.
Never stops.
Yeah. It's a completely different motion, but it reminds me, not mechanically, but like how Faye Stenning always used to race. You'd think she was in the home stretch of a kick every single step that she was taking.
Faye was also kind of cocked off to the side. Like it always looked like she was like,
they don't mirror each other at all. I'm just saying in terms of like, that their stride looks like they're doing some effort. I think the two of them
they churn forward.
Let's see that.
Where Nicole just picks them up and puts them down.
Yep.
Like a Rich.
Yeah.
Quick turnover, light on the feet. It works.
Smooth. Her gear shifts don't look like they're happening.
Yeah.
Was there any post-race breakdown from Nicole or anyone talk to Nicole? Like, what's her intent here? Do you have any idea?
I think she had fun. It looked like she did a couple of posts saying like, here's me screwing up. Like, and I thought she said something like, maybe I'll do better next time, or maybe I'll give this another shot. I thought she mentioned that. So I'd like to see her again. It's more prize money if she does this, and she's going to do well in the mile also. Like, put in a little bit of a block that can't hurt. Like, put in a little bit of strength, especially with like the 3K format. She doesn't need to go long anymore. I think if she can shave 30 seconds off of her strong time and just keep improving on the running, like that, she could be in contention.
I think she might be a candidate for most impacted going from DEKAFIT down to DEKA Mile.
Like
because it's only 6 minutes of running.
The more power output is required.
I can see that. Yeah.
The great runners in this sport really move from 300 to 500. Every time things can happen, but those last 200 meters, they're seconds faster than everyone else. They don't atrophy as they go. And so it would remove like her sweet spot of taking time back. She would continue to lose to the power athletes on the stations, but she wouldn't have that extra time to take it back. So I think DEKAFIT really, after watching her, if she wanted to train for it, I think she could be on the podium at World Championships for the full DEKAFIT. I can't say that she's going to go after it, but I think she has that ability. Her row did not look bad. It looked like she hadn't done as much rowing as everyone else, but she was still putting out pretty decent power for like 300 to 350 meters.
Yeah.
That's not a lot of work needed to get that last 150 in.
Yeah, and it's just going to come down to what a lot of it does for these type of athletes who are coming in, like Ryland, for example. I mean, he's different because, well, he used to be kind of stuck in a building, so he had to do training inside. But like, is Nicole going to want to do 4x1,000 on a ski erg or a 60-minute trail run?
Right.
You know, That's really what it's going to come down to. And maybe she'll try to do both, which I think you can. But right now, her time was 30. Is their time last this weekend was 35,
29.
35, 29.
I'm looking at it right here. So yeah.
Okay, cool. And that would have put her 11th last year. So she'll need to do another one, I would say, in order to try to get into Worlds.
She did beat some people who were ahead of her who would have been ahead of that time last year, I believe. Like who made it to Worlds? Because wasn't Michelle Navarro in Worlds, and like Alicia had a qualifying time. Maybe they were slower. But
they had a roll down. I mean, Michelle qualified with a 37 something. She was like actually the 23rd athlete. So a lot of people didn't.
Oh, because roll down. Okay,
roll down.
That's high level stats, Rich. Good preparation.
Coming through. Look at me.
Just 30,000 something. Yep.
So I mean, we'll see if that's something that she did want to pursue. But I mean, she could get a roll down as well. But I mean, the athletes who are ahead of her on this list, I think, would show up from last year. That puts her in a decent spot this year.
If we just look at Nicole's splits, so 39 seconds on the lunges, that's very good. That's comparable to pretty much anybody on the high end. 2:15 on the rower. We already talked about that a little bit. 57 seconds on the box jump over. She can shave 15 seconds without even trying. Genuinely, at least 15 seconds. 107 on sit-ups. It looked like she just didn't know what to do there necessarily, because it's a thing you just don't really practice. 225 on the ski erg. You can shave 10 seconds off there. I'm assuming just a little bit more efficiency. Good farmer's carry, 46 seconds. 231 on the air bike. So I think you put in a little bit of work there. You can shave another 15 seconds. Basically what I'm saying, and 303 on the.
What you saying, Jack?
Basically, I'm saying she's got at least 90 seconds of wiggle room, and I think that puts her around 34 flat. So definitely contender for a podium at Worlds.
Yeah, maybe. I wouldn't say definitely.
Definitely a contender. Yeah,
contender.
Definitely a contender. I think she's definitely a contender to make Worlds.
Okay,
but who's she gonna beat?
Yeah, Tara is fast. I forgot about that.
She's gonna beat Lauren. She's gonna beat Meg.
Alondra.
She's gonna beat Alondra.
So she could maybe make top 5, and then if a couple weird things happen, she could maybe sneak into 3rd.
Definitely a contender.
Hey, I'm rescinding it. I'm editing my wording right here. I have the edit function on. Yeah.
Great.
Well, how many of these stations has she spent any time practicing? Clearly lunges aren't going to be an issue.
Her burpees were good.
115 for the burpees.
Yeah. It shows that she has that functional engine. Row, she spent very little time on. Box step overs, probably 1-2 times she's practiced. Sit-ups, weighted, probably never.
Probably never.
Ski erg, she's probably messed around on it, but not ever done workouts on it. Farmer's carry, sure. Assault bike, probably not. Dead balls, never. Sleds, probably just messing around when they do some of the Mericle workouts or whatever they were doing, Kempson workouts for a bit there. More stations than not, she's probably never even touched with a heart rate up.
For sure.
Let alone practice skill. So she could have minutes come off her work.
I agree. I think what I'm just most excited about is that she gave it a shot, and where's everyone else doing it? You've had a lot of buy-in from the next pack people. This is a very deep race on the women's side, especially. And you are seeing a lot of the in-between athletes. You haven't seen enough of the high-end ones, but I feel like this could break down the barrier a little bit, where people just aren't willing to try it because they're like, oh, I'm used to being the best, and I don't really want to get embarrassed on here. And look, Nicole, she doesn't finish worse than the second any race that she does, and she just got 3rd in her first time doing it. But there's not a lot of prize money anywhere else, and if you're like, hey, I'm a little bit more functionally fit or stronger than Nicole, and I can run pretty decent, maybe this is worth a shot. Maybe I could be the next star. And you can see the female equivalent of a Rylan who just gives it a shot and then maybe brings herself to the front of the pack. I'd love to see a few more of the high end people give it a shot.
Specifically Lindsay?
I don't know necessarily. I think that it stinks that it's kind of only in the US at this point, because there are some athletes Ida or any of
Spain. Viola's on the list this year. She's the 4th. Viola Oberlander. Yeah, she hit a DEKA. So her time counted from Spain, but there is a DEKA Spain.
Okay. Kayla could be nasty.
Yeah, That's
She
what
could
I'm
be very
saying. Like,
good. I bet. I wonder how Miriam would be. This like, I wonder how she could put out for like a
I
5K
bet
distance
really well.
Think
Oh,
so?
maybe not for the
woman
run, but
for
the
the run. That's the problem.
stations.
Station she would murder, but like, there's so much less time to murder
I'd
the
love to
stations.
see her on that assault bike.
Deca strong, dude.
big
Or
difference.
Deca
Oh yeah,
mile.
yeah.
She
We're
would-
we're
she'd
we
be a
were making a
problem.
big deal about like Taylor Williamson coming over from CrossFit Mayhem and stuff. I think that it's the women who run like 32, 33 and do well at Hyrox. They're the ones who would be really dangerous with this stuff.
CrossFitters coming over will crush the strong, of course.
Maybe
If they're specific. That's what we thought last year, though.
one thing I'm not sure of is how high, like, these CrossFitters are amazing because they can do high output with very high weight. But when the weight part is taking out, like, how much better is Matt Fraser's engine than Ryan Kent's? If it's like a 10-minute workout without any type of skill or weight associated with it, like when the barrier is taken out, like,
It's true.
how much better does it get? Like, it's hard to say. Like, and I thought Taylor Williamson was going to come over and just throw everybody in a headlock.
Yeah, like when
11
Hunter
headlocks.
when Hunter did the CrossFit Games, like, and TMX, weren't a lot of those guys. I remember when he was in TMX, a lot of the high-end CrossFitters. You have Pat Vellner and a few others there, and they were like, "We just can't match his engine. He's just outputs more than us. That's just what it is.
Mhm.
He's not as strong, and that's the reason why he's not a CrossFit Games athlete. But we can't touch that, and I think that that's probably the same case."
Well, people like Kent and Rylan and Corning, Rich, they've gotten to the point where their stations are so good that it's diminishing returns now. Like it's like going from a 4-minute mile to a 3:55 and 3:55 to 3:50. It becomes exponentially harder to drop those seconds. And so when people are already skiing in the 130s and rowing in the 130s to low 140s, like, how much faster can you actually go? Maybe this is what Rich was saying.
Right.
Like, with any similar energy output. Like, how much faster could a prime Fraser ski in a row than like 135 without cracking?
Right.
Because he's got to hang on for another 6 minutes afterwards.
Yeah. And he's like 4'8", so his box step overs won't be faster.
Did you guys see
Those are wall hops.
Faye Morgan, who is, I think, just about 5 foot? She
Her
had like
knee was getting up to like her shoulder.
she had like a straight leg, kind of like kicking all the way up to get up to the thing, because they don't change the height.
She was scissor kicking it.
She was scissor kicking the bottom. Shouts to Faye. I thought she was going to do really well. She was what, 10th? She just finished where she finishes.
9th, I think. Yeah.
Top 10, no matter what.
Yeah.
Bang.
She's like that in Spartan. Doesn't matter.
That's what I
You
said.
want high single digits? She's your girl.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Nicole does when it comes down to it, because yeah, like we'll talk about Veejay, but will it be, what Veejay is kind of projecting his path to be, or will Nicole kind of go more the Lindsay route and get really good at trails, really good at like longer ultra, ascending, descending? Because where it comes to sponsorships and money, like, I don't think OCR is it.
Yeah.
I don't think either are there. You have to be willing to accept a lifestyle or a second job if you're trying to make your sponsors count right now. I just don't think there are many people getting a Jim Walmsley contract.
Yeah.
So even leaving OCR and going to the trails, like, does Nicole stand out? Does anyone in the sport stand out to such a high level that you can make 6 figures?
I mean,
no.
Like,
so, like, I don't think the opportunity is better. It's which one does she enjoy?
It's which one is she going to enjoy?
She was starting to trend towards mountain races and doing trail races. They were all starting to do Broken Arrow, and they were doing these big, excursion races. And then after the ACL, does she want to get back to bombing down hills and climbing for 30 minutes at a time? Or is she like, let me train out of a garage and make the same amount of money? I don't know what she wants. But there is no one outside of the top like 5 in any event or extremely Instagram famous that's making 6 figures anymore.
No. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see like what path she chooses. Like, will we see her in a Hyrox? Because then that's a whole nother thing. Like,
in a Hyrox,
that duration seems to be a good space for her, but the the sheer output that is needed, like someone that size.
Take
in
a
Hyrox,
year
I
to
mean, at
know.
least.
To
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
like, to start to glimpse what could the ceiling be. But then I just keep coming back to Faye.
Faye did
Faye
well.
is not a lifter, but she was doing very well in Hyrox early on.
Well, yeah, let's see.
Rebecca also.
What did Faye do?
I
Rebecca's
thought she was 66, 67. I thought that's what.
Rebecca's powerful, but she was not a
No.
power athlete.
she's a bit more size though, right? Than Nicole.
She does, but Faye certainly didn't.
Yeah.
No, she doesn't.
Other than her traps.
I mean, they're like
Otherworldly traps.
5'6", 5'7". I'd say that's about where Rebecca is.
New York. She did New York, right? Is that what she won, Faye?
Mhm.
She was in Chicago and Miami. That was
She
the
did
buckets.
Dallas one year too.
You just guys are just naming all the cities that.
No, she was
that
at the first
exist.
one. She won Miami, the first one.
No,
That was
didn't MK win? Faye ran 70 in Chicago and won. And that was like, damn, she beat Lauren Weeks. Lauren was 70-44 that day.
She peaked.
This race is like stacked.
Yeah.
And what was the other one you said? The first Miami?
2019.
I'm gonna keep the women. I'm gonna pull up the women's and the women's only.
All right, that's fine.
Is that fine? Yeah, MK won when 69. Edit button, Jack. Twice this. How many?
correct?
Can you get it? Can you keep it? How long can? How many edits can you have in one episode?
I'm also looking at the results, and Faye Morgan was actually 10th instead of 9th. So there's edit number 3.
Shoot. Lauren Weeks was
Off my
second at 71.50. Faye was third in 72.25. But these times are not necessarily accurate because they had the 25 meter ropes, the
those
crazy
are
long ropes.
disgusting.
Those early sleds were just a nightmare.
joke.
Yeah, that was not something like they've cleaned that up a little, some to make it for the better, but
Yeah.
different problems came up after. All right, Calypso Sheridan.
Yeah,
Nasty.
I'm impressed. Yep.
Pretty nasty. She's taller than I thought. I haven't seen her in person. Like her, I mean, I guess it makes sense for
Swimming background.
swimming background, like the length that she has.
Yeah.
But I mean, Lauren's not big. How tall is Nicole? 5'4", maybe?
5'3", I'd say.
5'3". Oh, she's pretty
Yeah.
tiny. So maybe Calypso's not incredibly tall. Maybe she's 5'7", 5'8". But she
I don't
looks
know,
like
she looks like she was like 5'10" compared to everybody. Like Haley Brogan also, she's about 6
she's
feet.
tall.
And Calypso wasn't too much shorter.
Yeah. So I was like,
Calypso's the real deal.
She looked
Yep.
impressive out there. Like her station work, she lost almost all the time to Lauren on the run, but her station work was better on a lot of things, and she did go ruck. So we can't like throw out Lauren's result and not throw out Calypso's because Calypso was there as well. She actually did better. She did more than Lauren.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Calypso's zones outside. So Calypso, her 5K was 2024. Lauren's was 1912. So Lauren's the better runner, but Calypso went 14:07 for her total splits on the workout zones. Lauren, she went 14:37. So 30 seconds faster than Lauren. Calypso has some good output.
Lauren still hasn't figured out that bike. She needs to do better on that bike.
I mean, yeah, okay, 206. That definitely needs
The
some
bike
work.
seems to be a very specific type of fitness. And I don't fully get it. Some people just take to it, and some people it hurts them,
Mm-hmm.
or they just don't generate the same.
I don't know. The way that I look at the bike, and I don't want to skip to the guys right away, but we saw what Veejay did. He just kind of coasted back, and then he just had so much juice at the end of the race, even though no one was really there. And I don't know. Sometimes I feel burning yourself out. You don't want to do it at that point in the race necessarily. Like going 10 or 15 seconds slower, you might save more than that in the second half of the race because you didn't just burn everything on the bike. And maybe that's what Lauren wants to do.
You give it right back on the run unless you're a monster.
Yeah.
Tara's probably the best we've seen on the bike so far.
Yeah.
And she was 153 in Atlantic City. So I guess it's not, I mean, that's
Calypso was 155 this weekend. So
that's really good. That's really good.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, and the bike itself in terms of strategy, it's a whole different conversation, right? Like where if you are someone like a Ryan Kent, who it is a significant advantage for, and he uses it to his advantage, whether it's someone like me or like Veejay, where it's like managing it and getting good enough at it to manage it so it doesn't completely collapse your race.
Yeah.
There's definitely some different ways to approach it.
Yeah, which you impressed me a lot, with your performance in
Thank
Deca
you.
Strong at World Championship, because it's like that you can't manage it there, and you were still in it.
I just go so hard up front.
Yeah,
And
then Ryan Corning just came in and just snuck up on everybody and took off like a helicopter right there.
There was 50 meters of running in that race, and I used it to my complete advantage.
No walls,
not a single wall.
Corning's the example that people get wrong when they try to mimic him. They say, look what a big powerhouse can do. Correct. But what they're forgetting is that he is capping himself on every event up until that station in order to put out.
Correct.
Yeah.
He could row at 135. He rows at like 150.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Not
I was
because
there with
weak, but because he knows I'm saving my credits for this station.
Yeah. I was there with the GoPro, like doing some of the live coverage, and almost every single person in the field was rowing 140 to 144, which shocked me in Deca Strong. And yeah, you're right. Ryan Corning, he was like 148. I was like, what the heck? And so he loses 8 seconds, but he gains so much on the bite. It's such a weird strategy, but
in that specific race, he got screwed because of the way they set up. They didn't put us in lanes.
He had to cut to the other side.
Yeah, like because he starts slow, and it would be like if you had to in an 800 if you sit and kick, but because of it, you had to run in lane 8
for like wide.
Yeah, for like 150 meters, which not ideal. Not ideal for him. Ideal for me. I made my way directly to the line.
You played the game.
Played that game, dude.
Yep.
But Calypso's going to be legit.
I agree.
It's going to be legit. That was Jack's pick for breakout hybrid athlete of the year, even though we didn't make those picks. That wasn't something that we did. Jack just made
it's my in the group chat. Yeah.
Mine was Nicole Mericle.
Oh yeah. Well, look who's ahead now.
I'm picking Meg Jacoby for mine. How about that?
Big surprise. Katie Duke also. That was a good battle with Nicole. It looks like she missed a lap at one point.
How did they rectify that? Because did they just make her, did she run 3 laps on the next one?
I thought she had like a 1-minute penalty also. Maybe
you could see them talking and they were saying Yancey was going 3 and you could see him pointing, and then Veejay came on and talked to the camera, but they didn't have his volume turned up so you could barely hear it. But the plan as of right then was she's just going to make it up on the next run, which I liked. Yeah, it throws off the dynamics of the race. I think if you get into first place like that, and then you run your next 3 and you're still ahead, it's kind of sketchy.
Right.
But if you lose it back, it kind of feels like, all right, play on.
I kind of think she should have stopped doing the wallovers and done a next lap.
Yes.
But maybe with the chip, I think why Hyrox doesn't do it, like they rely so heavily on their chip timing that for them to edit something later, it's not going to work. So that was probably why when Katie came through, they made her finish. It's just do 3 so we can make sure that you don't receive a penalty when you come in and out of a station or whatever it was.
Yeah, in theory, the moment they realized it, they should have paused her, and her penalty is that she has to transition twice.
Yeah.
And to me, that punishment fits the crime. You have to stop, get off, go, get back on, ramp back up.
I think she should start from the beginning. Like if
she doesn't get credit for those the wallovers at that point.
Yeah. What if they figured it out at 18?
It's still like she shouldn't have been there. I think she should get
credit for them.
I disagree. Jack?
Because then you're double.
I'm on Team Rich.
Penalizing.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm
kicking butt today. Making great points.
Yeah. I feel like 2 laps isn't an ask. It's a very standard layout as opposed to Hyrox, where I can see why people get confused when there's 5 2/3 laps for sure meters, and you just can't keep track of it. And you've got a different order, like zone 1 is on this side, zone 2 is on a different. This is, you're going in a circle or an oval at this point, and you should be able to keep track of it. But I get it, race brain. That's why we call our podcast that. Like, it exists. Unfortunate situation, but you've got to know, like, hey, I'm right there with Nicole, and suddenly she's not here anymore. Maybe something's up. That's just
I wasn't justifying it. Just saying that I don't like to see people punished twice for a non-cheating mistake.
Yeah, and it was definitely unintentional. Like you could see the way she was closing on those burpees. Like she wanted to catch her, and that would have been a fantastic battle for third if she didn't have the separation happen.
Felt bad for Nicole in that moment. She had that energy swing of getting past without getting past. I was just thinking, oh, I hope someone makes her aware of the fact that you didn't screw up. You're fine.
Yeah. Yeah. And Katie Duke, she's kind of the opposite of the way that you described Nicole, where if you go down to a deca mile, it might not be in Nicole's favor. Katie Duke dropped a 19:31, which I think is the second fastest ever on the women's side behind Meg. I think that she probably has some of that Bridget Brown, like just athleticism, good, just moving around. She just looks like a very fluid person.
Yeah, she looked the part for sure.
An athlete. Yeah.
And yeah, that was a great battle. It was cool that it was great to see that these female athletes were just not worried about who Nicole was, right? And like racing her, like, let's go.
Look who she was like. Do you think Calypso knows who she is? Do you think that Katie Duke, like, they probably know of her, but they've never seen her as this dominant specimen?
I think every single person in the sport knows who she is, but this was their chance to take her. I think they're excited to race her.
Right.
It's true. It's good.
It's like when Killian drops down to H group at a stadium, people are like, all right, this is our time.
I'm taking him out.
This is it.
Yeah. What else on the women's side? I mean, like we said with Lauren, it's not a ton to take away. She's raced quite a bit, and really, we're going to project out in 2 weeks to see what that. We'll talk about her plenty in a couple weeks when it comes to the Hyrox stuff. Anything stick out on the women's side?
I think it's very similar to Hyrox, where the women's field is like super exciting. That's kind of the battle that I was looking forward to. And you saw, even though we've spent this whole podcast talking about 1 through 4 so far, you had 37:06 to 38:17 separating 5 through 10. So you had within about 10 reps on the Ram burpees, 5 or 6 women at the same time. And then right after that, you had 4 or 5 other women finish under 39. So it was deep for just like one of these regional local races. So I think championship season, that's going to be super exciting. And then that last Orlando race, when everyone's going to try to get their last qualifier, you're going to see some battles, and it's probably going to go 2 heats deep.
You know what, the Ram burpees, I hated them in stadiums. I thought they were so mean to put them on the warning track. You could run a 95% perfect race, lose 20 seconds there, and be done. But it's what makes DEKA so exciting, is that the final station, much like wall balls, but maybe even more so, you can make up a spot or two if you just come in and are able to put out right there. So while I didn't like it in stadiums, I really do like it in DEKA.
I do not like the form. There are some sloppy reps that we saw in that live coverage.
It's pretty goofy, but
yeah.
I don't like the lean over and like barely get it over. Like, extend. Even if you don't have like a full snatch motion, just make it look like it. Don't have it 1 inch over your head. I think you should have making as close to a lockout as you can.
Yeah, that's going to be tough for judges, and I think it's tough for judges now because they would have to look at hips essentially.
It's not
hips
tough for judges. Yeah, I was going to say, look at the hips at that point. It's
supposed to be knee, hip, head.
Yeah.
How do you look at 3 points?
Yeah, these judges are just like, nice job. They want you to do well.
I understand why they say just clear your head with it, because it simplifies it. But there's only 2 points then, which basically touch your chest and clear it. And a lot of people are doing those dolphin push-ups and touching like their rib cage to it. And
I think that's fine though.
Well, if it is, it's not spelled out that way.
It's not an efficient range of motion necessarily. Like, you're making it harder on yourself.
So. Super fast. The other thing is the lunges are really, at this point, most people are not getting their knees
only Jack
out, and they're jumping switch lunges without extension, which I don't care. I think that's fine.
Just make it more tiring. Yeah, just leave it that way.
Just allow
I don't think there should be any rules. I think it should be each foot has to touch him, the knee has to touch him back, and that's it.
I agree.
Like, any way you can get that next foot back there, do it. And if there's a version like that you can do for Ram burpees.
I think just get rid of the bent over while you're extending. Like, stand up while you're trying to extend. That's the only thing. Because if you're hinged at the hips and like your torso's at a 30-degree angle, I just don't like that visually.
I think
vertical clear your head, I'm happy with.
Yeah.
There should be one line when you come in where the ram is, and then 20 feet line the other way. You do a burpee, you get up and you throw that beast behind you. And then you got to run it back and do it again. Just chuck it like strongman style.
We're just gonna have just all these just random rolling and bouncing ram roll. Okay,
Yeah.
You just ruined your perfect streak of points.
Deck of dodgeball is that what we're playing?
That was a heat check. That was pull up
That was
to
a
30.
Even Steph Curry misses sometimes.
Hey, no bad ideas on brainstorming. Someone and. I need a yes and, please. So yeah, okay. Dudes, shall we talk about them?
Yeah.
All right, here's my first question. DEKAFIT, is it an old man's game?
You'd think so after seeing the results.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
I think it's because OCR is an old man's game. There's only one.
This is old man. This isn't like 37 to 39. This is like 42 to 49 who's making the podium.
But that's my point. Like, what's the last thing to go with a human? It's their strength and their toughness. Like, you don't need spicy speed. You don't need crazy high end output. You need to be able to grind it out when it's tough and just keep turning over. And that's what these guys are doing. And they figured out the movements. The young kids, they're not in the gym practicing box step overs. They're either running 450 pace on the roads or they're bench pressing. They're not interested in the intricacies of this stuff. The old guys are like, let's do this. This is what I can do. This is what I have left. I'm going to be the best at this. I love it.
So we're saying this. Veejay won. Mark Polzin was
Paul Zine.
Mr. Paul Zine.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a name itself.
Yeah.
Paul Zine.
Mark Paul Zine.
His name is Robert Paulson.
His name is Mark Paul Zine. So he was 40 to 44. John Clark, the guy we mentioned him, shouted him out, said this dude's a beast. Watch out for him. Takes a podium, an elite podium. 45 to 49. Then it was John Howard 35, which is normal. And then Glenn was sixth, 40 to 44.
Take Cowley, don't forget.
I did. I skipped him on purpose. 30 to 34, and then Glenn was 40 to 44. So old dudes out here crushing.
You see Glenn's walk up?
No.
You didn't? He came up there with a cane.
A sweater, an old man cap, and a cane.
He told me he was going to do that his next race because he found out, he's like, all these young people are having faster times than me and stuff. He's like, I feel like I should just go up there with a cane one of these races, and he did it. And I was like, that man is a man of his word. That's amazing.
And then John Clark showed up. Dude's probably like 48.
Yeah. It was like great grandfather beats the grandfather. So yeah, it was super impressive.
To be fair, those guys, Mark, John Howard, John Clark, Glenn, they've been doing DEKA for the full amount of time you could do DEKA for, which is like a year and a half.
Yeah.
So they've put themselves in this, so they've thought about it a lot, and they're experienced. So that matters.
Yeah. And I mean, to be fair, and this happens at every single race, it's like Rylan was going to show up. He didn't show up. He was sick. Go Rock Games took a toll on him. Anas, he couldn't show up. His son had a track meet that morning. A few variables there, but you can only beat who showed up. So congrats to all the 40 plus guys who crushed it.
They know how to pace themselves. They've all done it enough. They know how to put out correctly. And you can always watch the young guys that get out and don't quite get it.
How many people in OCR do you think pace themselves properly?
Zero.
On the high end.
2 or 3, 1.
And they're typically like not like, I'm thinking of a guy like Austin Azar. He always he does not get in contention. He'll be in 50th place at mile 1 at a world championship, and then he'll finish 18th or whatever. Like, he just progressively moves his way up. He'll never be at the front, but he never fades because he has a really good racing strategy. And there just aren't too many people like that in OCR. In DEKA, you do have people.
And he may not be an OCR anymore.
That's
Lindsay,
true.
Ryan.
Atkins leaves a little bit too much time.
Yeah, but he knows his limit. I don't know. But in general, the overlying theme in OCR has always been just go out, hang on. People are going to drop. Just don't be the one who drops. Hope it works out. You do see a lot of this in DEKA specifically. I wouldn't say necessarily in Hyrox because the sleds mess people up. You can see
people mispace themselves all the time in Hyrox.
Yeah, it's like, let me go out at 3:35 pace for the opening 1,000 ski. It's like, you think that's a good idea with what you've got coming up? Go for it. But there's some interesting pacing strategies in Hyrox as well. But Deka, you do see a little bit smarter, like staying within your limits. And if you are a 17 flat 5K person, you're going to go out at 17 flat pace instead of 16 flat or 18. Like people kind of go where they should, it seems, in Deka.
I call and raise you Derek York.
That dude led Boston Marathon one time, dude. He knows how to pace.
Yeah, super
He's
pacing.
Sawinski. He's the Sawinski of our sport.
Yeah.
He is our best rabbit. Although he just ran a good marathon.
Did he? What did he run?
239.
239.
Really? There's a. Have we seen someone go under 230 actively involved in OCR or hybrid?
John Albin ran 226
with like 500 meters of gain in the course. It was
I think it was
ludicrous.
1,800 feet or something like that.
When he was still doing OCR or not?
His,
yeah,
his
does he
first
still count?
marathon.
Yeah, this is like 2016 when he was like Spartan World's podium level.
Okay.
Didn't Lars do one a couple years ago? He was like sub 230.
I
He's
don't know
probably
what he did,
but marathon, like a
Yeah,
vertical marathon.
going
He just raced. I don't know if you watched the last 2 weekends have had the Team USA mountain and trail qualification races.
Always
I
forget
saw the
he's
New
USA.
Hampshire one.
Always
Yeah.
forget.
Well, so New Hampshire was trail
Yeah.
and this one was mountain or vice.
Okay.
Yeah, in mountain. And he took third and top 2 qualify for Team USA.
Oh,
So he finished
Who
in
beat him?
between for somebody and Max King. He was in between.
So Max got fourth.
Max got fourth. They all broke Max's previous course record, including Max.
what can I search for this?
Try Team USA mountain running qualifier.
Okay.
I'm forgetting the name of the race.
Yeah. Keep
So, yeah,
fun
Lars
assembly.
was third against a
That's-
field of pro runners.
Dude, he's that good, huh?
We had Chad Trammell on about a month ago,
Oh yeah.
and he was talking about like it's a shame the Spartan season was canceled. And he said his number one reason, he said, other than I was going to come back and do a bunch this year, is because I train with Lars all the time, and Lars was about to murder everybody. He said Lars is better than me at everything. That he's a better skier, he's a better uphill runner, better downhill runner, and he's better on the flats.
I believe
pretty-
that's
And
Chad-
Chad
Chad's
got
good on the flats, right?
second at Leadville 100.
Chad second
and
at Leadville.
wow.
Lars ran what, 4:13, 4:16 indoor in the mile this year?
What? This year he did that?
Something
I know he
like
was.
that.
I know he got under 15 in the 5K last year.
Ran 14:59,
indoors.
and then
Yeah.
he just broke 4:20 in a mile this year.
What?
Significantly broke it.
Yeesh.
And he is rim to rim record holder. Like his range is crazy. But Chad's like, yeah, Lars is on another level. The people around here, the Olympians, struggle with Lars in these mountains on these trails.
Yeah.
I
All right.
can't find this.
It was there's a post by Max King about a week ago and US Mountain Running Championships. That's what he said. Sunapee Scramble. Sunapee,
Sunapee, yeah.
that's in New Hampshire. I used to ski or snowboard there, so that might be the other one that he was at.
Go to I Run Fars this week in running, and they'll recap it.
No wonder this sport has a hard time growing. Like, you just can't find information on like results of like what happened. You have to go
Do
onto
you-
Instagram and
You ever go on I Run Far?
No.
not necessarily.
Every week they do a This Week in Running, and they talk about all the significant results in the running world. And it's fascinating to watch. And people from our realm pop up in there all the time.
Really?
Kind of cool to see the people you know pop up in there.
Do you comment? You're like, I know that guy. I'm asking
Yeah.
chatbot.
Yeah. And then I like share to my grandparents, my aunts and uncles, like, hey, I ran against that guy. Look how fast I am.
Bracken, you're the only person who knows what we're going for, and Rich and I have been struggling for like 3 minutes to find this. Can you just do us a favor and get us the answer?
Doesn't matter. We can move on.
All right.
Listen, I'm not here to be a researcher. I'm an idea man.
That's
Okay.
true. Just out there, big thoughts.
It's not
Shout
the
out
contract I signed.
so, outside of your area of genius. We don't
Was
want
it
to
the
stretch it too much.
USATF Trail Marathon National Championship? Was that it?
We've moved on. We are moving on.
Jesus. Okay.
On we move.
Done.
Shout outs to the old guys. I thought I was an old guy, but the older guys than me are out there doing it. Thank you for that. VJ,
Yeah, I was going to say, how about Veejay? Just talk about him before you completely move on from Deca.
I was just moving. I wasn't even
No,
close
go
to
for it.
moving on
Go
from
for it.
Deca.
You said
Jack.
moving on, so
Moving on from the old guys.
got it.
VJ Jones. What do we think?
I have a take here, Rich.
Let's do it.
He was disappointed. He had some hiccups on course. He was disappointed. He's been doing all this other stuff and thought he'd come in and be faster than he was. You and I both know that's not how body transformation and training style changes work. The moment you try to add muscle, add power, change how you're training, you get worse right away. And then you come back around. And if you're successful, you get back to as good as you were doing it this new way with a bigger body. And then if you're hyper successful, you surpass it. And he just got right back to where he was. He's had an inconsistent offseason. He's put on weight intentionally. He's been doing more strength work. He's been doing other types of work, and he still matched what he did. Even when he wasn't DEKA specific, he was so sharp in his fitness when he did that last one that I see this as a huge win for Veejay. It justifies what he's been doing and his potential. So now he's going to be able to build from here. This will be his slowest time he runs this year, barring catastrophe. I think this was a really successful weekend for him, and I hope he realizes that.
I couldn't agree more. I think the effort that he put out there, based off of almost nothing specific, and there was a couple hiccups, like he wore the Takumi Sens. They're not going to work. They're not going to work, dude. And like he had the same experience that I had with the Adios, where it just doesn't catch the ground on the tank, and his tank could have been 15 seconds faster. So even if you just take that.
Did he wipe the bottom of his shoes
several
at the tank?
Times?
Was that okay? That was what he was doing.
That's what I had to do as well. Like you get a little bit of traction, and you can move it for a little bit. But
now, what's the
really
rationale
slides.
behind there?
Well, behind what?
Just explain to listeners, like, why would you wipe the bottom? Like, is it because the
Let's
tread
show
on
you
those
here.
is just so slick? Okay.
So this is the Adios Pro, which isn't the Takumi Sen, but they have the same patch here. They use
on
this
the side. Yeah.
They use this this sticky-ish, kind of gritty, real smooth, flat, thin rubber there. And so it grips really well on
the
any
road.
like pavement or anything like that. It's not even bad on gravel or grass, but if you have a coating of dust, there is no grooving or ridges here for it to pass through. So you have all this surface area to grip, but it's all touching the same level. Nothing punctures through and gains purchase. So it's a really good shoe with exceptional traction right up until it gets on the thing it can't handle.
And with the Takumi Sen, half of it is that flat piece, and the other half is it does have some sort of raised grooves, but the grooves themselves are smooth. Like they're not. There's no multi-directional grooving within the rubber. So same thing happens. Just the dust just sits on top of it, and like your feet just slide. So he probably gave away time on the runs too.
When I'm embarrassed, I usually have that shoe in here, but I just used it.
Was that what you went? Did you run in the 752 in the Takumi Sens?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. I wanted something light with a bit of cushion. And then this week I pulled out my Skechers appreciation wall. So
I see a lot of Skechers happening up there.
Skechers floor to ceiling.
Their fit's not what I want it to be.
It's my perfect fit, and I've realized that M Strike, that rocker they have, is in the exact perfect place for my stride. So outside of like super shoes, this is the best everyday option for like actually promoting my foot strike correctly. I love it. It's my poor man super shoe option.
I was in on what is the mid-level, the Razor. But then the Rebel 3 New Balance, I just feel like is superior.
And it's too flexible for me.
Oh, really?
4 foot doesn't have enough. Yeah, I tried it. The Razor's better for me than the Rebel, significantly better.
Interesting.
I feel sloppy in the Rebel.
Speaking of shoes, Rich, it sounded like you got some new trail shoes. You're out on the trails for once.
I ran some trails.
That's weird.
That was me.
I don't know what to think of that.
I got out there. It's easier in Arvada too. It's like super close.
Yeah.
No real traffic to get out there. I was doing it. They're
Bombing
nice.
those downhills.
I survived.
Yeah.
Peregrine 13s?
Yes.
So you went with that Power Run PB foam.
I went to this running store and they're like, oh yeah, let's take a look at the sales wall. I'm like, are you fucking serious? I want that new shit. Come on, man. I was like, you think I don't want Power Run in my shoes? I do. So I got those and they fit great. I mean, they fit like a road shoe. So for me, I like that. And like, I don't know how well they would do. Magita messaged me and said they're not great on wet, but I don't really have to worry about that much.
Does he have the 13s?
I'm not
It's
sure.
historically, Saucony treads not great on wet, but they've been tweaking the compound a little bit.
I'm not sure. I'm not
And
sure.
and Rich, is that so that you planning on any non-road or indoor races this year, or you just kind of wanted to get out?
Just for the heart, just to feel good.
Mm.
Okay.
You know,
Can't stay in the garage the whole time.
not the
Rich,
whole
these are
time.
my newest trail purchase. Razor Trail.
Wow. Let
They're
me see.
so light.
I like the color.
Does it
So
give you?
light.
Does it give you anything underfoot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. In fact, of all my light shoes, this has my most supporting cushion.
Huh.
However, I just can't trust it on technical. But if it's like a let's rip on the trails that aren't going to be dangerous, I think that's my favorite one now.
Colorado trails would work. Utah
Colorado
trails,
for sure. Yeah.
California stuff.
And right now, Nordstrom Rack has them for $52. You can't find them under 100 anywhere, but they've got a sale going on Nordstrom Rack, people. $52. You're not going to find a better trail.
Did
deal
you
than that.
did,
Code
did you
Bracken
find?
for
Yeah. Did you find this deal, or was this
Come
one?
on.
Did it come from
Yeah.
your aggregated people finding it and sending it to you? They sent it
Nah,
right to the
this
top.
isn't from my pyramid. This comes from the top.
You have like an RSS feed of discount shoe when a new shoe gets. I mean, you basically do, of all the different discount like DSW. See what they got going on there. Sierra or whatever.
Sierra, Ross, dress for less.
TJ Maxx. Now you're speaking my language.
So overall, Veejay and like Veejay's times, one thing Veejay has not done is spend a lot of time on the machines, and his machines improved. So the power that he's gaining is translating even without specific work, which is interesting.
You can tell he's a good rower naturally because watching him row, I would have guessed he was rowing slower than he was, which is like the mark of a great rower is they never look like they're rowing hard.
I was impressed with it. I didn't think it was that
rowing.
fast either. Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be. He was like
Chilling
around
at
140,
41,
142.
42,
Yeah.
41, 41. That's putting out.
Yeah.
I know what that feels like, and he didn't look the way it feels. I was impressed. You know what he has? He has the hips and the butt of someone that drives power. I don't know if you watch any NFL combine and they were talking about it. Some guys like, look at that butt. Look at those thighs. That is power drivers, right? And he's right. People that naturally build glutes and drive from there are people who know how to put out power intrinsically. And he's always had that. Even when he was skinny little Veejay, he had a rump on him. And that is the sign of someone who can drive power. And so he's the type of person who can work a deadlift or a front squat and get better on the rower because those type of people just know how to drive power straight line without having to learn like, how do I activate my glutes or how do I convert this? They just do it. That's a real skill that you need.
So I've been writing Veejay's program. Do you think I could sell like a glutes program, like peach?
Oh yeah.
Summer peach program. 8 weeks.
Get Jack Gores to take pictures of VJ's butt, put it on the cover right there. You got it.
Yeah. I got a rump back here too. Maybe I could do that.
You do?
Maybe that's where this coaching thing is leading. It all leads back to pumping up that peach.
Hunter has it. You have it. VJ has it.
Ken's quad.
Yeah, no, Rich.
Ken's
Reinforced rumps. There you go.
Reinforced rumps. There we go. That's
There you
easy. Synergy, brand. People like
Sort
this
of
stuff.
rhymes. Yeah.
BK, you're quads too, right?
I'm a front chain guy who's trying to become rear chain.
Gotta get that. Hey, 8 weeks. Perfect peach. Reinforced rumps. I'll send you the discount code. VJ's in a great spot. I think VJ is really in a ideal spot here with it being so early. Yeah, because when he ran this time, which is about the same. I don't know exactly to the second. Jack, do you know what he ran in West Palm?
30:03. Magita was 30:04. Yeah.
Right. So being 5 seconds off of that in a race in May versus a race that was in September, where all the championships are in the fall.
Yeah. And legit 10 to 15 seconds of standing still on the sled. That's not even like an excuse. That's a pure fact. He wasn't moving on the sled when he wanted to be moving. And then what happened on his bike? He kept like motioning to his right handle or something.
It was, he fixed a bike early and then someone undid what he did. So he got to the bike that he thought was going to be his size and it was pushed a little close and a little low. And his time wasn't very fast on the bike either. Like 127, he has at least 10 seconds on that as well. And like at the high end, you know, Mark Paulzine was 105. He goes a little bit too hard on that thing. I would say that Mark goes a little crazy, and he went a little crazy on it last race, which was
Knoxville,
maybe not. Maybe it was Knoxville and NorCal where he was in podium contention.
He wasn't NorCal because I was there.
Okay,
I watched
so
Knoxville today. He came off it looking ragged, but on it he looked like
hammering.
If that was the end and he didn't have to run after, it would have been great.
But he lost a bunch of spots, right? Like I think Colin got away from him. Who ended up third?
He went like 50 something.
Josh
I thought
Gonzalez.
in Knoxville.
Yeah, who got third?
Josh Gonzalez, I think.
Okay,
he was from
maybe he
Gregory's gym. I think
1-0 again.
It was low. It was very low. Yeah. Shout outs to Bubs, Underdog Athletics.
Mm-hmm.
Got his podium guy up there. But yeah, but this time he must have worked on that specifically running after that, because he was able to hammer, because I think he was like 105
night
again.
and day.
Yeah, absolutely. So he might go a little bit too hard, but 127, like that's not hard enough. So there's time there as well.
If you're Paulzine, where are you going to take it back? You're in the fight for a podium. Like, where are you going to take it back on the guys that you're fighting with? You're not going to take it back on the run. The sleds don't have that much available among the top guys to really take back.
No,
so
it's the run. Yeah.
You got to shoot your shot. Yeah. And he goes after it on the one where the top guys in that race that he's against have said, I'm willing to allow some time to be had here. And so he's taken it, and he's going to get better at handling it. So even if he does blow up from time to time after that, it's the right call tactically, because where else are you going to do it? You're going to sit on them casually, split the same bike, and then watch him run away.
Because there's still what, like 9 minutes of the race left?
Oh, more than that.
It's like a crazy amount. Like like imagine kicking in a 5K
at the 2 mile
at the middle of the
yeah. But if that's the only way to break the guy who's faster than you,
Prefontaine style,
it guarantees boom or bust. But it's his ticket to the podium is take it where you get it. So I understand what you're saying, but I respect that move there.
Paul Zifontaine, how's that work?
That's pretty good.
I'm back. I'm back in the mix. Yeah, so I think this will be interesting to see how, like, Veejay's going to be in the mix. This should qualify him, unless, like, what's nice about DEKA is that there probably won't be a course where everybody runs 28 who ran 31 a week before. So 30 low, he would have been the third or fourth qualifier. We'll see how Spain scores.
Palm Beach.
Palm Beach was the place last year.
Orlando, that was basically World Championships Part 1. Like, everyone was there.
Is that happening again this year? Is that on the calendar?
Orlando.
Oh, it's Orlando. Yeah. So the floor in Palm Beach last year, it was super dusty, and they didn't put that weight in it. The weight does seem to do a decent job of getting the sled weighed down. It probably needs a little bit more weight.
Kent even said that it felt appropriate when we were in Sacramento. So
what's he know?
Good point.
I'm not hearing nothing yet. Thank you.
Yeah.
So he should be qualified. That was his the goal going into it. So we should definitely see him. Mark is going to be right on the edge again. Like 32 flat is what he ran last year, and I think that was the 17th fastest.
Yeah, he was a couple behind me.
And what are you predicting for this year? Is there going to be growth in the sport? Are you going to see bigger, more people enter, or is it going to be a bit of a regression? Was it a big jump for it last year, and now it settles?
Women's, without question, there's a jump. You're gonna see, like, especially if you see a person like Nicole, who, 35 mid, that would have been 7th place at Worlds last year, right, where Krista Glosky was. Yeah, you're gonna see big improvements there. On the men's side, let's look at the top 10, or who made the World Championship in DEKAFIT last year. Rich, you have not run a race this year. Megita has not. Chris Woolley has not. Dylan, Killian, Derek Yorick. So you're looking at half the field right there has not run a race yet. So I'd expect everyone there to be under 31, because they split
the regions so heavily that everybody on the West Coast has run
first half.
And like, so we have a Midwest race. So we have, and everyone from the East Coast, which last year was kind of only Dylan.
Megita.
Good call. And
is Derek East Coast?
He's like Arkansas.
He is now. Yeah. Oh, I thought he was in. I thought he used to be Arkansas anymore. Maybe he is Arkansas now.
I'm not sure. I don't know. You're the geography guy.
Yeah.
So I think I don't know. That's a good question, Bracken. What was it, Jack? What was your time to get you in last year?
31:47 got me in.
So is
That was-
Indiana
That was
going to
14.
become Orlando Part 1, where it's like the last chance for both coasts to not travel a ton,
You would think,
or at least East and Central,
You would
or
think.
West and Central. You coming down? Because I'll do Indiana.
Let's do it. I'm
You're
thinking
gonna do
about
in
it.
Orlando.
Potentially. I'm gonna do. Well, the thing is that Pennsylvania and Indiana are back-to-back weekends, so I'll
Yeah.
do one of the two.
Oh, you won't want to do both?
Probably not, but back-to-back, maybe.
I think I have to.
and skip Orlando. You're gonna do PA?
The 3K?
Oh, no. There's an Oaks, Pennsylvania
Oaks.
on August
Oh,
26th.
gotcha.
That's what he's talking about.
There's
for
a Deca
DEKAFIT.
mile the week before the Palmerton 3K. That's what I was thinking.
Oh, okay. That's in
Near me.
July. Yeah, and then the Midwest.
That's not till fall.
That's not till August.
You have
Late August.
August 26th, Pennsylvania, and then September 3rd in Indiana.
So those are the only two on my calendar right now, those two races.
Orlando. Everyone's going to be there.
Florida's. I mean,
I know. I hate it
Orlando's
also.
not bad.
But
Orlando's probably not as bad of a trip, but I would rather not go to Orlando, but I might, because that would be really like the last ditch effort. Where Worlds is December 4th, I believe.
Mhm.
I thought it was the
10
week
weeks.
after. Is it the 4th? It's the week before Abu Dhabi.
No, it's the week before Abu Dhabi. Like I think it's the first, second, third,
It's
something
just
like that.
weird that the same company owns them both, and they put them on back-to-back weekends.
They were trying to do November,
Especially that
for
now
DEKAFIT.
that they
It's basically
they're the same event, kind of
Right.
20 to 30 minutes.
They've moved it back. They moved Abu Dhabi back. That's usually the 4th, the weekend of like the 4th.
Yeah.
The weekend of the Tennessee Mile, as the rest of the world understands it.
Yeah.
Yes, good.
Exactly.
Appreciate the reference point.
Not
the-
Pearl Harbor or anything, but yeah.
No, Jack, chill.
Yeah.
Then,
Make this political.
Yeah.
dude, news of DECA Worlds is that there's going to be a team race every single day. It's a 3-day event. Last year was 2. It was Just Fit, and then it was Mile and Strong on the same day, which made for a very long day on that Sunday.
Mhm.
Yes. So now it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like an OCR World Championships style of event, where it's fit teams, mile teams, and then strong teams. What we needed here was a deck of strong teams, and they gave it to us.
So each day has the distance and the team associated with that distance.
I believe so. I think, Jack, is that correct?
I'm pretty sure that's accurate. That's gonna be
Who-
disgusting.
How do you qualify for teams?
Just got to do it. Well,
They have a
Is
local
it team
event.
qualification to get to world teams?
Yes. They
It's
have
not just
local
band
events
together and do it?
no, they have local events where Team Strong and Team who was it? Amy Cross and someone else, they went like 18 something for the team mile recently. She and another woman who at her gym. So like they're already doing events like that.
gyms have been doing.
Yeah, I know, but do you
team
have to
stuff.
qualify as a team, or can you qualify all of you individually and just jump on a team?
Pretty sure you have to do a team beforehand because that would make sense for registration. They want more people to participate ahead of time.
Jack, where's the Deca Ruck Championship?
There, you can look into that.
there's
Lauren's
gonna-
my pick.
Preston Burnett. There's going to be
Garrett Newby.
Jared Newby. He broke.
He just set a world record.
He broke the world record for a half marathon by like 11 minutes
With a
That's-
What did he
60-pound
run?
ruck.
60-pound. It was like 7:04s, I think.
What? He almost broke 90 with a 60-pound ruck in a half marathon.
He's so much better than everyone else in the world at rucking that like there's no competition for him.
Yeah. Now, Bracken, this is going to be a blast from the past. When I was getting into OCR, I remember looking up Jun Pak, and he has some Guinness Book of Records, like marathon with the 40-pound
Marathon.
weight or something.
Was
Do
it
you know
40?
his time? Do you know his time roughly?
Is this a question or is this a quiz?
It's in
No,
my
no,
head. It says
question.
326,
My guess was about 320 to 325 also. So
but I don't remember
yeah.
328
Oh.
maybe.
So what
But
would
that
All right,
was
hey,
like-
tell you what, I'm gonna pull my weight here. I'm gonna do some research.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Well, I found the mountain
I'll see you guys
results, but
next
we're
week.
not talking
See,
about
dude.
that. Yeah.
The
Say it while I'm doing this.
Okay, Lars got third. Johnny Luna Lima got seventh.
we dropped this topic a long
No,
time
we
ago.
brought it back.
Johnny got 7th. Nice, man.
Oh,
Great.
now you want to talk about it? Okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
for our guy Johnny, shouts.
Yeah. Yeah, good for
That's
him.
a return to form.
Yes.
Yeah, it seems like it.
But he was 20 minutes behind Lars, so that's just shows you how good Lars is realistically.
Lars is out here running like 4:14 and then
Yeah.
freaking hitting the mountain. That's
Yeah,
Whoa.
401.46 for Lars, 403.25 for Max King, 7th place, 420.55 for Johnny Luna Lima. So 4-hour race, 20 minutes behind.
Jun Young Pack. Also, I found this way quicker than whatever you jabronis were doing.
yeah.
Yeah,
How
well,
did you do that?
Because Guinness Book of Records lists stuff like this. All right, Bracken, I'm going to guess officially 3:26.
3:12.47
Ooh.
with a 40
For
pound.
the 40?
With a 40. That Jared's running like 229 with
Jared's also like 200 pounds, and Jun Young Pack weighed about 40 pounds. So
Yep. That's pretty good, man.
And
Yeah.
he had like a legit harness strap. Like I think it was a rucking pack that he put weight in. It wasn't one of these modern
was like Go
hyperwear
Ruck.
vests or
wow.
Well, Jared will take that on him at some point, I'm sure. Or
Yeah.
some other. Yeah,
should
he
have just continued.
what
You
is
could probably
that?
break 2 flat in the 800 with a 60-pound pack.
Oh, get
I'm
out
just-
of
I'm
here.
messing
What
with
could he
you,
do
I'm
in a
messing
752 is what I get.
That's
Okay,
what we're
well,
talking about.
what'd you run? Take
A
away a
loop.
second. Yeah.
Did what's the half marathon record for dribbling a basketball, you think?
Too long for me.
I
Way too
looked that
long.
up for a Nas a couple days ago because we're trying to get him.
Does he have handles?
Well, I looked it up for soccer, or football. So I was like, and what do you think it is for kicking a soccer ball for a half marathon?
You could just kick it out in front of you?
Dribbling.
120, 118.
No, 135.59. So
Shit
it's
is
just under
slow.
90.
Could do that
Yeah.
today.
That shit is slow.
That's
bro.
what I'm like. Yeah. There's some.
You don't want to do a
professionals on
net
it.
downhill course though. You're gonna lose the ball.
That would be it'd make it easier though, as long as it's completely straight as an arrow. But
All
I
right.
ran a half with Lisa one time and I was letting go of the baby stroller on the downs and just cranking to try to keep up with that thing.
That's the extra incentive. I like that.
yeah,
That's smart. All right, moving on. Let's talk about Hyrox real quick. We had
We're
a
Deka
race.
done.
We're Deka done. That's what we say, right?
Yeah.
When I say Deka, you say fit.
Yeah.
Bracken, are you going to be on that when the road show?
I'm gonna be Aruing.
You're still hitting it with the Aru?
I do have one question for you just before, since we were talking about teams. Rich, are you gonna go after teams this year? I know Bridget's not racing this year, but you think you'll
I got a
do
backup.
something like that?
I have a backup mixed doubles partner.
Okay.
And
Oh, is it all
I bet
mixed? How's this
no,
working at
no,
Worlds?
there's mixed, and I don't know. I'm gonna try. I might try to get a qualifier in all of them.
If
and just
that's
see
the
what
way
we
it
can do.
works, I may not try a single individual. I might try to run 6 team races.
A great relay guy.
6
Just-
team race.
Just hand me the stick.
Oh,
Let's go.
Bracken, you have never
4.
done a team race in this one. Like it hurts like a 4x4.
Dude, you will
That's
be
my world.
nasty though. You run 250s and then you get break. It's amazing. Bracken's ultimate team guy on this.
Yeah,
That's my world, Jack.
I'm aware, but I don't know if race number 6 of the weekend is going to be treating you as nice as race number 1.
Tell you what, you go run a 752, and then you tell me what you're thinking about your odds.
I'm going to book
No,
a
I
flight
wouldn't
to
do
Milwaukee
6.
later today. Yeah.
I wouldn't do 6. I would do 4.
For the
Okay.
the strong teams, that's just going to come down to who. There's this guy in Bubbles Gym. His name's Ivan. I forget his last name, but he can like pull. He's a monster. He's like 6'2", 6'3", probably 240, and just big. And he can pull like 120s mid.
Should
on,
just
like,
get Matt
skater.
Roos.
I'm just going to get Zach Vogel. Just to get him on the team.
I'm gonna
No.
get Mac Roos. He's the
Ivan's that
1K
guy.
American record holder in his age group. He's
Yeah.
he's like 120 something for 1,000.
Yeah, but make him do anything in front of it. I mean, what happens?
It's a team.
440s.
He's also a sub 4 miler. So he's on the team. Let him do the cardio.
Straight line. Yeah, and you'll be the guy bouncing over the
Him and Corning. Boom.
Corning
And
will be
me.
good.
Corning has a torn ACL, so I wouldn't
Oh
get
shit,
him.
really? Dang.
Yeah. He did that in the
Yeah.
off season.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. Torn ACL as an adult, not something I want to
No.
have happen.
He could
You
Adrian
know what I
Peterson
call
it,
that? Retirement.
For sure.
Mhm.
It's like getting a hobby. I'm gonna
Yep.
be like making ships and bottles when I tear
Yeah,
my
grow
sell
some
off
grass in the
everything except
backyard.
my upper body lifting materials. That's it.
just go straight up bench. See if you can
Yep.
get that bench back to where get 3 plates on there.
I've never had 3 plates.
You could.
You could do 325. That's about the closest I can do.
Once you tear that ACL. Moving on to Hyrox. There were 2 races and we had 2 new athletes in the Elite 15. On the men's side, Peter Schiller ran 58.21. This was in Hanover. So our guy Peter Schiller went from a 61.15 in Cologne 3 weeks ago to a 58.21 in Hanover. Dude, 3 minutes in 3 weeks. That if we can bottle that and couple it with the reinforced rump, making millions.
3 more weeks, 3 more minutes. So
I'm saying
55 at Worlds, roughly.
yeah, if you can extrapolate that out, that dude's got to be the favorite. But he finished. So he's in. He's 14th now. Bo Wills is now 15th with a 58.37, and Tom Hogan was bumped out. Tom Hogan's going to Hong Kong.
He's flying to Hong Kong.
He's going.
I heard you
Hunter's
joking about
landlord.
that with Matt. That's
Hunter's
crazy.
landlord fronting him that flight.
Is that his? I know they're homies, right? I think Tom has something to do with Builder of some sort.
I think he's the Europe sales rep or something like that, or distributor.
Mm-hmm.
Let's call him director of distribution or director of sales for Europe.
Yeah,
That's a good title.
I think that's appropriate.
Yeah.
Tom was in Elite 15 last year. I think he finished 10th or 12th, I think.
Yeah.
It's an even number. But so he's going to Hong Kong, and I think we'll see James Kelly there as well because he's an
from
Aussie,
Australia.
so he should be right there. So depending on how fucked up that Hong Kong course is, they should have new equipment. How do they measure stuff in Hong Kong, Jack? Is it the same?
It's not the dong, is it?
I think it's all dongs measured.
Hong dongs.
In American dongs.
Pesos. Yeah.
So maybe they measure it funny. Maybe Tom gets lucky. I mean, but from Ireland, Hong Kong that's got to be.
That's a long. You thought yours was going to be when you were.
He might not be in
hypothetically-
Ireland right now.
He could be on his way.
Yeah.
He might be steaming there. If you take a ship, I think it's easier on jet lag.
You would probably get more time to adjust. It's probably a gnarly route, though. Would you go up, have to take on like some Arctic?
Yeah, plus pirates. I don't know if it's worth it.
Do you think up in Scandinavia, like Viking?
Those Arctic pirates. They're
Viking
just
type.
waiting for people.
Well,
to go to Hong
I
Kong.
didn't say Arctic pirates.
You said up there. Where do you think it is?
I didn't say up there.
Someone did.
I said it. I think
Oh,
he's
Once you
got-
clear the Arctic Circle, you drop down into pirate land.
it's just straight down.
Okay.
Listen, I was in Sweden, Jack. Okay,
I know you're an
You know.
expert on this stuff now.
I'm kind of
sorry.
worldly right now.
You survived a pirate attack probably up there in
Did-
Sweden also.
Didn't see
No,
a
I
single
avoided 'em.
northern light. Not one northern light was there.
No,
Well, we do have an answer. If it was a nonstop, it'd be 11 hours, 50 minutes. Most of these flights are looking about 14. So like
That's
going
going
to
to Dubai.
That's not horrible. I mean, it's
It's not ideal.
far from ideal, but it's better than what we would have had to do. It was like
Yeah.
24 hours for
13
us.
to Dubai.
Yeah.
You guys did all right.
No, we did a 10.
No,
we did
it
a
was-
10. We did a 10, then a 7.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying total time.
Yeah, and then driving to the airport, then going to it's a full day, and then you lose half a day because of the time zone change. Like, he better be leaving today.
So fingers crossed for Tom, because Tom had busted Peter's ass in the past couple races by like 2 to 3 minutes. They've raced a couple times this year. James Kelly's pretty close to Tom. They're about that. They're kind of neck and neck. They may be 1-1 this season. So again, if this course is jacked up and they run 57 something, like they could both get in and knock Peter and Bo out. But like 58-37 is like fast.
Yeah.
And I think Peter is 58. What I say, 58-30-21.
You think
When-
Tom's doing this because he's 40 plus and he's like, well, my window's closing pretty soon. Might as well just get on it.
Yeah.
He's got that builder money.
There's raking it in.
Builder bucks.
He's hydrated. He's hydrated too. But yeah,
When
I think this is
Hunter-
kind of like a retirement tour for him.
When Hunter won 53 or whatever, was Tom at that race?
No,
Why didn't they? Why didn't? Do you know why he didn't go with him?
he was.
Sweden.
He did that. Well, he did Sweden. They were kind of counting on Sweden being fast, but they got probably the old German equipment, is what it's kind of seeming like. And maybe that's what's happening to these German courses now, because they stopped being fast, but now they're fast again. So maybe they got new equipment, shipped that up to the hitched a ride with the Pirates, up
Pirate
to,
Land. Yep.
yeah, up to the Nordic branch of Hyrox.
Maybe they were shipping the bad stuff and then the Pirates stole the good stuff, and just there was some issue there. But Bracken, just to answer your question, I'm pretty sure Hunter was planning a Europe tour where he was going to do multiple, and he probably got his mark and was like, sorry, I don't think Tom was planning on doing 3 different Hyroxes all where Hunter was going. So that's probably.
I just thought that he would have been touring with him as director, chief executive
Of sales.
of sales.
Yep.
But so I'm pulling for him. I hope that he makes that happen, because this I mean I don't want to do this every single time we have a good discussion about Hyrox, but we kind of have to. The Hanover times were crazy. They were just insane. There was a dude who ran 59.0 who bumped me back. I'm like freaking out of the top 30 again, pretty much.
Washed.
But I'm soaked up.
You're
Nothing.
lucky you got on your wall of fame last month, because if they had to
They caught wind of
reassess
this.
stats, they're going to take you down.
They should. But like there was a guy who ran 61 something in Barcelona and then ran 59 something on this course. So like this was every bit as fast as that, if not more. And Barcelona was absurd.
All you need to know is it was in Spain. That's all you gotta say.
Right.
Dang. Huh.
So we have a race to look forward to this weekend, seeing what shakes out on the men's side. If it's going to be Tom, if it's going to be James, Peter's going to stay in there. Bo's going to stay in there. Peter also raced in, and I'm not trying to drag this guy down. I'm just saying facts. He ran 64 minutes at the European Championships and finished 14th. So in terms of raceability, like you can kind of chalk him into that
Yeah, but
placement.
then you put Megita.
You put Megita. I mean, Megita even beat him that day.
Right, but Megita went from getting dropped afterthought to North American champ. So it's tough to make these one-off assumptions, because we've all seen people crack at Hyrox and then do well. Hunter just DNF'd. So you could say Hunter just went from DNFing his last one to winning the world championship.
That ain't gonna happen. That's not my pick. You guys got prelim picks?
Talk about it next week.
Well, we have.
Or 2
You don't
weeks.
think Hunter's going to win?
I don't. That's
He's
it.
all in that Peter Schiller train.
Did
That's
Peter
what
Schiller? I mean, well, 3 minutes. Yeah, what will we say? So we dropped 3 minutes. So
That's
he
still
has
a minute
another.
behind
He has
Hunter.
another. He still has 3 weeks.
But Hunter he has a DNF adjustment factor, so probably add like 2 minutes to his time. So yeah,
Depends if Schiller's doing the rump builder or not, because there is an ideal point that if you exceed that, you slow down.
True.
You
Too
can't
much rump.
keep growing your butt exponentially.
That
yeah.
is true. It's gonna
After a while, it just gets in the way.
hurt range of motion.
I wonder, like, how many people there's got to be like a German version of the, a podcast similar to this, and how many people do you think have mentioned Rich and just like their disdain towards him,
Just dragging
everyone
me
this
down.
season?
All of them.
They're probably like, you have Mintra and all them at the board meetings. They're like, you hear what Rich said again? It's
You
like,
think
we gotta screw him over. Let's make
think
this course a
they-
little easier.
You think they talk about the athletes at their meetings? Come on, dude.
The
Yeah, right.
athlete, they talk about you.
Just
they don't
me.
even know who's like the world record holder. They're like, I heard Rich again though. So
Just talking that
He's just
mess.
background noise at this point. He's
I
just
know.
like that. He's white noise.
like a mosquito.
She
It's
puts
like
on some droning of her trying to fall asleep at night.
it's just gone too far. I can't
Taking the jacket off, he's getting pumped.
I can't speak to Hyrox without like being. I'm swayed too far. Who's somebody that just like I'm like Skip Bayless with his LeBron.
Dylan
take.
Brooks right now. Is that
What about Dylan Brooks? Well, someone like Skip's like married to like his LeBron's not that guy.
yeah, oh yeah.
I can't go back on my takes now on Hyrox. It's just too much.
This
So like it's predictable what's coming from me. It's not even like compelling. It's just like trash.
Problem is, you've built it up so big that whatever you do next year, you're bound by your words you said this year. Like you're already in justifying what you do next year. invalidating. Injustifying is not a word.
I'm moving to Spain.
Yeah.
I'm doing
And
a
then
year
we're just
abroad.
going to rail against
Adios,
you.
America.
I'm out of here. Like if this is what it's going to be, I'm just going to move to. I'm all remote, baby. We can do race. I can do race brain anywhere.
Yeah.
I really think we need to do a race brain abroad race tour next year.
November 18th, Barcelona.
There you go. Just
I
get
might
it out of
already.
the way. Not that you're keeping track.
No, I mean I'm looking at it. I was trying to. Me and BK, we're gonna talk next week, and I gotta whipping it up a season, and that's something I'm looking at. I'm like,
I had the best sleep of my life in Barcelona.
really
My entire life, not even close.
something in that tapas.
I don't know. We landed there on our way to Spain. Well, further up into Spain because we were already in there.
Right.
And we had stayed up all night. Basically, the kids hadn't slept on the flight. We landed, stayed awake all the way until the evening, and we Airbnb'd a docked sailboat. And we laid down in that sailboat, and it was pitch black and just gently rocking in the harbor, and we slept 16 hours straight.
Whoa, little white
Six-
noise.
Oh, it
Background
was
noise.
unreal. So all I know is that we're going to show up refreshed, fast course, full hearts, clear eyes, can't lose.
Hey,
No.
mark it on the calendar.
Yeah. Rich, I sort of see you like a wrestler who was like the good guy for a while and then he just turned heel. That's
Went
kind of what
heel.
you were like Hulk Hogan turns into like Hollywood Hogan and WCW when he joined the NWO. That's kind of like you went from the good guy all these years to like, all right, I'm embracing, I'm the bad guy now.
I like it.
The rest of you.
Who else did that? I mean, did the Rock kind of went heel to good guy, or was that like
he ca-
anti-hero type? Because I mean, Stone Cold.
Triple H
Ugh.
definitely.
This is not BK's topic.
Oh, let's talk about shoes instead.
All right. Yeah, on the women's side, Yanae Thompson went. She punched her ticket pretty much. She's like well into there. She's 64-31, so she's 10th now. So she went
bump?
from.
Did she break the tie between
She did.
Jezebel?
She did.
Ah.
Jezebel and Antej. How
And
you
she
say?
raced. Anche Harches.
Anche.
She
Is that
raced
Julie's
that course
cousin?
she raced in this weekend.
at Hanover.
Yeah.
Oh man, like if you're not qualifying,
She was
in Hanover,
she was like high 60s, close to 70, I'm pretty sure. So look her up. I'm almost positive she was in that race.
I'll look it up. I mean, if you have, that's another thing. If you have a bad race this close, like just
Not a good sign for later.
you're out. That's the tiebreaker. I can't believe I don't. Oh, she did. Oof, and she ran 70. Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
back.
How'd she get
So-
out? She get out aggressive? Do you have stats
Oh,
there?
let me check, see if things kind of fell apart.
She go
She
for
probably
it and
went
crack?
for it. Yeah.
Her sled. She had a tough sled pull.
Mhm,
Yeah, she was
mhm.
242 on the push, and then 513. I don't think she's very big, so that might be the case. But yeah, things kind of fell apart
Yeah.
on the back end. Like she really kind of had a tough time toward the end. So yeah, so it seemed like she went for it, but she had
Good
to.
for her.
And so her and Jezebel, yeah, you're right, Jack. Who were tied? They're both out. So that's actually probably good.
Yeah.
Because Hyrox
That would've been-
having to handle that. And so now, Yane, is that how we're saying that, Jack? Janne.
Sure.
Yanni.
Yane. Jack. the
Bracken
fuck-
was up in Pirate World recently, so he probably knows.
No, I avoided Pirate World.
Yeah, if he was in Pirate World,
If they can see you, you're done. Their boats are
wouldn't-
faster than yours.
he wouldn't be on the race brand.
Yeah,
this
stay off the
weekend.
radar.
What if they had a last minute qualifier in like Somalia? Speaking of Pirate World, would you go there, Rich? If like that course was guaranteed to be real fast, or would you be like, "No, that's not worth
I
it"?
mean, I didn't go to Hanover and I freaking should have.
That's true.
So she went from 69-34 to 64-31 from Cologne to this race. She ran like 67 and change at Euros, and she was like 11th or 12th there. So she's kind of in that spot again. Chris,
Still in.
she's still in. She's not safe though. She's 14th now.
Oof. Who's that? Really? There's an Australian woman.
Tamarind Robinson.
Yeah. Okay. She could be in Hong Kong, I imagine.
Well, she ran 67 something in her last time. If she's on that Peter Schiller program, dude, from that last attempt, she could be like, we're looking at like 55. I don't know. but she is legitimate. So so she could definitely jump her way into the top spot. And I don't know, maybe grab another Aussie trying it for the first time. The CrossFit's really big down there. That I don't there's no one on the radar necessarily, but again, depending on what this course looks like Chris isn't necessarily safe.
If you're Chris, do you buy your flight or do you wait a week and then it's more expensive?
It's already expensive.
I know that.
Oh my goodness. I looked last week. Kent reached out and said, hey, since Rich won't race doubles with you, I got you.
Yeah, I heard he's trying to steal you as my partner. It's scumbag.
I looked. You cannot get there for under $1,100 anymore.
Yeah, that seems
you're
right.
muted, but I bet it was great. But now the timing's off.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was having a coughing fit. But...
So yeah, okay. So he was just coughing. He had nothing to say on Manchester. I mean, that's what it looked like from Denver. Every time I checked, there was nothing under $1,000 to Manchester.
Usually, at any point in the year from Chicago, you can get somewhere in Europe for $500 to $700. Somewhere. You can't get anywhere in Europe for under $1,000 right now.
Right. Like when I looked at this Hanover flight, it was $2,000. And for what? It's craziness. And then another like $1,500, $1,300, $1,500, whatever it would be to Manchester. I don't know. Chris will hitchhike or something.
She will.
So she's not necessarily safe, but something to look out for. So this last
she'll get
race,
in.
I think she'll get in. I hope that she will get in, but because it doesn't seem like there's going to be as much of a roll down like there was last year, and I think having it in Europe is definitely a factor for that. But we'll see. So it's going to be compelling seeing what this Hong Kong situation is going to look like. Think they'll stream it? Trying to watch along? What time would they
on Twitch? Right? That's what I saw a post about that.
Is that true?
That Matt B. Davis posted something. He's like, the championship is going to be streamed on Twitch, which I'm like, I don't even know what that is. I'm over the age of like 25. So
the Hyrox Championship will be on?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Not Hong Kong.
Oh, sorry. I jumped ahead because we were talking about champs before that.
You keep doing this, Jack. You're way ahead. You're ahead
Sorry,
of us.
I was
How do you
looking
know
at
these
flights.
things?
He just has this breaking news. He just can't freaking.
How does Matt know it? Isn't OCR Report doing it?
They're not.
They're not. They're not doing Worlds.
They're not. No.
Then I'm out of the booth, I guess.
Same here, Bracken.
Were you guys going to do Hyrox Worlds?
It was going to be me and Bracken.
No, sir. We can do a watch along on Twitch.
Man, you hear about people finding out they've been fired, like from a tweet or a press release. This just happened to me.
Yeah.
Jack Bauer just broke the news that I've been fired on this podcast, and it was news to me.
I saw the genuine sadness.
Oh man,
just leaving your soul.
Let's do a watch along.
Who's having the worst weekend now? Like Rich not being able to race or Bracken not being able to talk about it?
I sunburned the top of my feet this weekend in sandals.
That's not fun.
Oof,
Oh,
that's
man.
bad.
That's not
Better
bad.
than a backwards hat getting sunburned. So,
jeez.
Well, I guess I got to figure out how to sign up for Twitch.
Boycott.
Or what it is.
I'm on the Rich train now.
Let's just do a watch along and just trash them the whole time. It'll be freaking great. People will love it. I
We
promise.
could do that. And it would be at a nice time of day for me also. It would be like after 10 a.m. So
It's on a Friday. It's Friday.
Oh, it's Friday?
Yeah.
That's not happening.
Take
then.
off.
I got work.
You got PTO?
My family's coming to town
Have some
Thursday through the following
priorities,
Wednesday.
Jack.
Dude,
Priorities. Yeah.
Priorities.
how are you going to do it in the first place then if you were
I thought it was on Saturday. So that's surprise.
Friday evening?
See, this is what I have to deal with in the booth.
Yeah.
Right. You'd be
This is why
scrambling.
you're
on.
not in the booth.
If you get me up in that booth, that would be no good for anybody.
I think you should just solo it, Rich. Just live stream. You would have so many people in America. Like, this is what I want to hear.
And just really lean into it.
Yeah.
Just like talk about how unimpressive everybody is.
You should start selling some shirts, like, you know, the no smoking symbol, like the circle with the slash through it. Just put like Hyrox Europe in there and just do something.
It'd be like
that.
the Comedy Central roast of Hyrox.
Maybe I will kind of get some material.
Yeah.
I could outsource.
Speaking
that.
of
Chatbot could do that for me.
of broadcasts, we all prepping for that 3K thought it was on Saturday. We forgot it was on
sorry.
Friday.
Honest mistake.
We were all like emailing, even the production, we're emailing like this weekend with this, and then they're like, yeah, on Friday we'll have a little time Friday to go over signal strength and like have a meeting, but not a ton. And then Thursday, everyone's like, oh no, it's tomorrow, guys. They moved to Friday this year. Lisa and I had already booked a hotel, a getaway for Friday. I had already canceled all my work. We were getting away. So I had to make sure that the internet worked at the hotel. And as we're driving up to it, like 30 minutes before the race starts, the tornado sirens start going off as like a test of their system. And the closer we get to the hotel, the louder it gets. It turns out the pole for the siren is at the corner of the property of this hotel. And I don't know if you've ever been near the actual source of the emergency siren. It is deafening.
Must be a jet plane, basically.
Right. It could probably actually do some damage.
Yeah.
We are in the hotel room 8 minutes till start time and it turns off. But I was like, already I'm trying to make this happen from a hotel and now I'm going to have to be muted the whole broadcast. This is going to be so bad.
When you got Magida on the other end, being muted's no problem. He's gonna let it go. He's going to keep it flying.
I got you, Bracken.
All right. So moving on. I was on Matt Davis's weekly show this week. It should be out Monday. And him and Ian Kay, who has a show over in the UK, we're talking a little bit about Matt's just the biggest hater on DEKA. Never done one.
Yep.
He's just still like, oh, this is dumb. It's like, well, dude, like you just don't understand it in any capacity. And you probably wouldn't sit and watch like a 5K, right? So like you probably don't like watching endurance sports. But Ian was also kind of like, oh, well, it's just like, should it be harder? Like, should the pros do more? So like, what do you think about the product of DEKAFIT?
It's not Hyrox, and I think that's what everyone tries comparing it to.
Mm-hmm.
It just is kind of unfortunate that, chicken versus the egg. It's like, well, Hybrid was around, but Hyrox came out first before DEKA, and those are like the two offerings right now. It's like people comparing Savage and Spartan. They're just different. They're still OCR, but they're different. So you can't really compare the two.
It was order of operations too that hurt Spartan's image on this. Spartan tried buying Hyrox. Hyrox backed out of the deal. Spartan said, we'll do DEKA. It was, had they just come up with it, maybe they could have had separation between the two entities, but it was just seen as a shorter, easier, watered down Hyrox from the start. And so like Jack said, that's what people think now. It's just Hyrox, but easier. But I don't buy the pros must do things harder than everyone else because they'll do it faster, and faster is harder. That's why the steeplechase is miserable for people. It's not because the barriers get higher the faster you get, that you run faster in between every barrier, and a 4-foot barrier becomes a nightmare by the end of a race because you're running so fast. So I think it's perfect. It's the speed version of hybrid, which we don't have yet, and now we have. Mm-hmm. So, or we didn't have. So, no, I don't think things need to be harder. See how fast you can get them.
And if we go back to OCR, it's like, oh, well, do you make the course harder for everyone else? No, we complain about, well, you should make the rigs harder. That's one single element in the entire, if it's a beast, a 2+ hour race. You're still going up the same exact mountain, the same exact slope. It's not like, hey, elites, you guys need to wear a weight vest because you're faster. Now we need to normalize the times and get you a little bit slower. You're still doing the same exact course out there. Why should you have a different one necessarily? And you just nailed it, Bracken. Like, faster is what makes it harder. Go ahead, try running Rich's pace if you think it's easy. Like, it's not. Go ahead and try to do the air bike a little bit faster. Should we have a 50-calorie air bike versus a 25? Because some of the guys are in a different division. Should Lauren Weeks have to have heavier farmers carries because she's really good at all the zones and stuff? Like, I don't understand that. You're comparing the same exact test, and these athletes are the best. That's the thing that matters, not the difference in weight.
I mean, I completely agree. And that's the thing that I just keep coming back to. It's a 5K is a 5K. If it's a JV cross country athlete in high school, Jack, what was your brother's name who got beat by the keyboard crutches?
Yeah.
If it's Jim running a 5K on a track versus whoever, Galen Rupp on the track, like
Connor Burns. What's
impressive is the intensity and speed in which these athletes can complete this. So I think it is a little bit from both Matt and from Ian who haven't experienced DEKA, and with the visual of it is different than a Hyrox, where you see Hyrox, you're like, this looks hard. And I get that sometimes where people are like, wow, that was really impressive, like the things that you did in Hyrox. And I'm like, how do you know? You're just watching it. Like people, but it just looks a certain way that it's like this is people suffering hard, where you don't get that same visual in Deka. But I don't think that's a problem.
I think people look at machines, for instance, like a row, if they're not, towards the higher end and they can't even a lot of age group athletes, they can understand it. But like the naive people, like a Matt or, some of the people who just don't have experience trying to compete at this competitive or like at a higher level, you look and you're like, oh, what's the difference between a 154 versus a 152? It's only 2 seconds. Like the amount of energy that might cost someone on the subsequent runs throughout the rest of the course, like you have to weigh those, am I going to go 2 seconds faster here, hold back, do I go make a little push? Like how you're doing mental math the entire race, and it's only a couple seconds here, a couple seconds there, but it's such a game while you're competing. And I think that's the part that gets lost. It might not be as impressive as putting 8 plates on a sled and pushing it across or pulling it with a rope or something, but there's still so much strategy going on as an athlete that you just don't understand unless you're trying to be competitive at it.
Yeah, we already have it. It's Hyrox. It's
Right.
heavy and it's one gear, really. Like you don't see big tactical moves in Hyrox because your big move is try to sit right on your line as long as possible
And just endure.
and endure it. Where in Deka, you can make mistake. You can only make mistake on 2 places in Hyrox, the ski erg and run,
and the sled push.
and the run into the sled push and the sled push.
First
Those
couple
are the only
stations,
spots.
that's it.
Yeah, and after that, it's just your
Hang on.
output's your output. Where in Deka, it's constant back and forth. And so I think it's good to have these 2 different styles because it promotes different types of racing. But the big thing is that, like, if you're going to, you have to feel it once. It's really hard to appreciate what's happening until you do something. Like you can watch the NBA and realize it's really easy to make a free throw, or a wide open jump shot's really easy because it just looks so easy. But until you take a shot, you can't really grasp how long the NBA 3-point line is, or how difficult free throws are when you're trying to not miss rather than just like watching a stud who doesn't miss. So same thing in a race. You can't grasp the difficult burn of deck. I did my first this weekend, and I got a deeper appreciation for it because you get to these stations and I realize there's a real cost analysis that has to go on every station. And I don't think I appreciated the tactics of Deka. I saw it as a shorter, faster Hyrox. It's not. They're not even remotely similar.
It's a little
Think
tricky.
Think of everyone before we did a Hyrox. We're like, oh, this is easy. And then you got that appreciation as soon as your simulation didn't turn out to be true.
And I guess Hyrox, you could compare it more to like watching not World's Strongest Man. What am I trying? What am I complaining? Is it World's Strongman? What am I saying? I don't know. Strongman
like
competition.
Brian Shaw, World's Strongest Man.
Is that what they say? World's Strongest Man? I feel like I'm competing.
WSM. Yeah.
Okay.
The one sponsored by Metrics.
Yes,
right?
yes. Like you can watch that and it's like that guy's pulling a semi truck, right? Like that looks like I can't
do that.
right. And Hyrox has a little bit of that, right? Like that sled looks really heavy. No one's moving it well. Or like if you're watching a 5K on a track, even on TV, like if you have no appreciation or understanding of pace or generally what distance runners are capable of and in any level, then it might not look the part of just like turning it on and watching for the spectacle. There's more nuance to Deka, and it's so new that people haven't experienced it, or there's not enough time or evidence to show like what is impressive.
You know how you go to a professional sporting game and like a few times during the game, they'll be like, if you're sitting in section 208, row 2, seat 6, you won blank. Imagine if they did that at Hyrox and they're like, if you're standing over here, you have to hop in and try to keep up with Rich, or they did that with Deka. You'd instantly have a lot more appreciation on how fast these people are. If they did that in the Olympics, they're like, hey, you've got Joshua Cheptegei on the track. Go ahead and try to keep up with him for like 100 meters. Never mind this whole thing. You don't get it. People make it look so effortless. That does not mean it's easy. That does not mean it's not challenging. People are at their limit.
I thought you were going to say, Jack, that if there was a complete random drawing for people who qualify for Worlds in Hyrox, I was like, that's basically what we're doing.
Yeah, that's fair as well. Rich with his like 8th point of the game.
The better people get at a sport, the easier it looks. But all you have to do is look at the back of the field to realize how nasty things are. Where these are all the people that would be the biggest animal in your local gym looking really bad in a race. Like when someone gets made to look bad, who could make you look bad, you realize how good the people are that make it look easy. That's really the only way to look at it other than to feel it yourself. So no, I think to sum up all of this, it's unfair to compare the two because they're different sports.
For sure.
They really are different sports. One is just a one gear grind and the other is constant chess being played with yourself.
For sure. And I guess it's like, how many times have you guys like run and won some like cornball 5K at the town next door, and you run like, I've done this a couple times, I run like 17:30,
Yeah.
and people are like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "Dude, this
You
is
go
like
pro."
it's like so. You think about the Olympics as like when I was like 10, but like it's just not something
not
that's
happening.
Yeah, right.
You're only 2 minutes away.
Yeah, right.
When when I ran the at the time world lead in the basketball mile, I ran 4:53, I think, or 4:52. People are like, if you could do that with a basketball, you should go try to break 4 without one. You know, it's like that concept that it doesn't make any sense. Like, no. No, I was like the 64th best Division III miler at my best.
Right.
Okay. There are levels to all of this, and we can only grasp the rungs we can see on the ladder. But then there's cloud cover, and then there's a whole another section of the ladder that you're just not even aware of.
I think another comparison for Deka, Nicole Mericle just came in. When has she not made something look so easy and just dominated? And we've always complained that, like, where's the rest of the competition? And now she gets manhandled by better athletes who focus on this kind of stuff. Like, it might not be harder in terms of weight output, but guess what? It's still super competitive. And we know Nicole's high end, and she couldn't hang with Lauren or Calypso.
Yeah. Did you get a chance to see were you involved with Matt's prediction contest, or was that
Third place? Yeah.
No, I know you.
Oh, no. I was too busy. He's like, can I do it? I'm like, oh, yeah, go ahead.
So you didn't get to see like if people were picking Nicole?
No, I could ask him just to see the results, but I'm sure a lot of people honestly probably put Lauren first, Nicole second. That's what I did.
You did that?
No, I did Lauren, Katie Duke, Nicole, Calypso. I had Calypso in fourth and Katie Duke second.
I thought Teresa was going to run better.
I had her in fifth.
Yeah, I had her up. I had Nicole out of the top 5.
Wow. Okay. Transparent.
Last year, Hunter and I had a conversation off mic.
Oh, I thought it was going to be like the $20. You want to bet $20 for who wins this Hyrox thing?
That's Cole.
Yeah, at this point, on mic conversations are the same with him. But he's like, "Are you going to do a Deka ever? I feel like with your stadium stuff, that would be something you should do. Hyrox seems too heavy for you." It's like, yeah, that's kind of fair. I said, honestly, I just don't have any desire to do it. It feels and looks kind of dumb. He said, exactly. I was just telling Ken, it's just dumb. Why would anyone, I'm not going to do one. And then I did a strong, and I realized it would be kind of nice to run in between each one of these stations. Then this weekend I simmed a DEKAFIT full and realized I need to go sign up for a mile because I don't have any race near me other than miles until DEKAFIT in July. Oh no, in fall
and August.
Yeah. So you have to feel one. I went from agreeing with him, and he and I have both not done one. He still hasn't done one, correct?
He did Deka Strong at Spartan Games.
He's never done a fit.
Yeah.
It's one of those you have to feel it first. Like stadium races, which this is closest to, you could tell that was going to be pretty cool. You get to go run through a stadium and everything, but you didn't realize what it was going to feel like.
That's more.
This doesn't even look cool from the outside, but once you feel it, you realize why it's so cool because it's so nuanced. So yeah, I think everyone has to try one. Matt B. Davis should do one for the good of the sport. You should go do one.
Carolina's 3.5 hour drive from Atlanta.
Orlando can't be that much further.
Yep.
He was just at which one did he cover?
He was at one in Atlanta. They had one last year.
It was an Atlanta one as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and you got to race one. You can't just complete.
No, this isn't a participation thing. Know what it feels like.
I don't know.
Let me tell you, if you want,
Matt has access to that.
Yeah, Matt, I saw him in Chicago a couple of years ago post race. I don't know if you saw him, Bracken. That was not pretty. He was like walking like a baby giraffe for immediately after the race. So I can only imagine what the next week or so was for him.
Yeah, that's good. I think we should all be reminded of that from time to time.
Yep.
BK, is that a drive to Fort Wayne? 4.5 hours? Driving that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
Where would a flight be to there? I guess Indy?
Indy.
This is a strange location.
Yeah, if it weren't for that fitness festival thing happening there.
Is that what is that why there's something happening? Is that why they're doing DEKAFIT there?
Isn't it at a convention?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's a road show, so it might be part of a smaller.
Well, a road show is just they'll have the road show shows up at gyms that aren't completely affiliated. They haven't bought all the equipment, so the road show will roll up with like 2 tanks, 3 bikes, or whatever, and they can do events. I think that's what's going to happen here.
I thought this was at a something. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know.
That's why I'm thinking Orlando's a better choice for you because
you can still you'll still get the whole thing.
Yeah, that you're definitely gonna have. They had one in New Jersey. You can look at that. As long as it's not on turf, it won't be too slow.
I don't care if it's on turf. I get to wear the RC Elites then.
True.
Here's the thing. I ran a time that I don't know what it means, but I got a good experience doing it solo. Even if I have to do it solo at a road show, that's fine. I just need a time.
Yeah.
I just need to find out, feel it once, get a time down, and then see what I have to work on. Because after doing your first Hyrox sim and then doing a race, you can never fully trust a sim. The DEKA feels like something you can trust. The lunges are the lunges. The burpees are the burpees. The skier, the rower, the bike.
Make sure you use the right bike. That's the only difference I'd mention.
That's true. And I raised calories up because I don't have that bike, so I did more cals.
Yeah.
But they're still easy. Anyways, the box is the box. The sit-ups are the sit-ups.
Mm-hmm.
The only variation you can really have are the sleds. A farmer's carry is the farmer's carry. It's really just the sleds and the bike. That's the only thing you can't replicate, right?
I mean,
transitions a little bit.
The RAM, like
there's no
it matters a little bit.
I have the 55 RAM.
Right. Like if
Probably
you don't have a RAM, like doing devil's press, that's not this. That's like slower.
So of all the places I could accidentally be cheating it's just the bike and the sleds. I think Hyrox, it was everything.
Right. And I think like the sims, we talked about this, you can like kind of add time. I think the transitions in a sim are longer than what they would be in a DEKA because it's set up well.
So next time I might actually try pull a Kent, load up my truck or my van and take everything to the track.
Hit it to a track?
I don't know if you have to know the person, but like if you find a DEKA Strong or a DEKA Mile near you and you're like, hey, end of the day, can I just come back and like find a 500-meter loop? You've already got everything set up. I'll wait till everyone's done. Maybe I can give that a shot. If you talk to the gym owner, it might happen.
That wouldn't be the end of the world either.
Yeah.
Maybe the place Callie and I simmed our Hyrox. Maybe I would just do that there.
Holler at my guy, Marcus Wallace. You got to go work out with him, dude.
Oh, that's right. I could do it with Marcus.
Yeah. I don't
Fittest
think
man in the Milwaukee area, right?
Best hybrid athlete in the greater Milwaukee.
Yeah.
That's true.
Until proven otherwise.
On paper, right? He's the fastest Hyrox, and it's not close.
Yeah, 61:30.
Yeah, not close. And then has he done?
I think he's going to do Carolinas.
Is he? Okay.
Mm-hmm. I hope he's really good at a strong and mile.
I've already seen what like Colin Steefer can do. So
I need to see Colin in a strong. He might just murder.
Yeah. Everyone's in trouble.
He's like insane on those machines.
Yep.
Yeah, go check out my guy. I don't think he has I don't think he has a tank, but like you can sim a tank kind of on a sled.
I'm to Colorado. See Kent.
Kent said to put 100 on the sled. I put it on. I started with 90. I put another plate on, and then this feels about, because I pushed a tank. This felt about right. So I think I had 225 on a 115-pound sled.
You're going to want it to push against you a little bit. Like you can't run with it. Like 100 seems too light.
Yeah.
Just make sure it's reasonably taxing for about 2 minutes, 15 seconds. Then you'll know for sure that you would have done it. I think
on the backing up. If you can jog with it backwards, it's too light. If you can jog with it, but it costs you, and then you have to stop jogging and like backpedal, then I think that was my litmus test.
Yeah.
Anyway, I went from thinking it's dumb to searching for races just by doing a sim. So I think everyone should try one and then make up your mind. You can still hate it after that, but Hate it
And
with
there's a different, if you don't
knowledge.
want to do the running, just do strong, do mile. Like you've got options there as well. But 5K, that's the shortest you're going to run in a hybrid event. So
Yeah, and it's more just like what it looks like, right? I think it's what
yeah,
people are getting kind of caught up into. Is like, oh, this looks dumb,
yeah.
and it's like, yeah, but like it's so fast.
Do,
It's
do
like
we?
running
Yeah.
looks like running is just running. Like this is running with other stuff.
Every single Hyrox race, just to play devil's advocate, like we're complaining about, oh, look at those burpee broad jumps. Those didn't look good. Look at the sleds. Of course, that happens. Did so and so do full depth on the wall balls? Those lunges. You know, every single zone for the most part, we're picking apart in Hyrox, and you can do the same exact thing in Deka. Like hybrid, it's just comes with the territory essentially at this point. And these are the movements. It's not going to change as far as I'm aware. And like you get the same movements at Hyrox in the same order. You get the same movements at Deka, same order every single race. Like just that's what it is. Just deal with it and just give it a shot.
All right. On that, we can wrap this thing up. What do we got on the running public this week?
We have a race director from the UK. Not just a race director. He runs like a sports marketing / directing races for other races. It's like he runs 2 companies and he's a big part. He's done like, I don't know, 500 park runs and just real big into the endurance scene of the UK.
Not necessarily
London
OCR,
in particular.
Like
They
races.
contract with OCR, but they
wow.
also like work with Nike to put on events and
That's pretty cool.
all sort of things. London Marathon, things like that.
Big stuff.
Nice. Do you have a Tuesday situation?
Yeah, we just we had one. Kirk was real high off paint fumes,
Nice.
so we may end up recording. I've got to go through and listen to it, see if he
Wait,
just,
legitimately?
like, he had to use like a special metal paint on his shed, and he was like still not right the next day. But not like loopy high, just like brain fog.
Like, I might not be well. I don't know how much damage I've inflicted. Hopefully
He messaged me that night. So like 10 hours later, he's like, hey, I'm starting to come around here and I think I was useless. So if we need to re-record, let me know. So I'm actually looking forward to listening through and editing this thing to just see how it was going.
Yeah, I mean,
speech.
he's probably just setting picks for you and like setting you up. You're probably gonna love it. You're gonna be like, damn, this episode fucking rules.
It wasn't like, dude, where's my car? It was like, Grandpa's got dementia. Kind of thing. Anyway, that's what we have.
Nice.
But it was about like the trends we've seen as coaches, the type of athletes that you like working with, dislike working with, what the trends among successful athletes are, the personality types, the mental setup, the physical attention to detail, all that kind of stuff. What it's like on this back end to watch athletes go through their daily routine.
Check that on the running public. I was talking about on reinforced running, strength training stuff. I've been my wheels been turning a little bit. I've my pity party is over, so now I'm starting to look. Today. Yeah. Hey, I feel good about it. I wasn't feeling bad about myself.
You're embracing the role.
I'm like 25th now. I'm like, there's not even close.
Yeah.
This is like, there's another like Alphonse type situation where this guy is completely open. He did all opens. Now he's like 59-0. It's like, whatever. These guys are just awesome. So starting to come around on that. Might have an interview around nutrition this week. A little interview episode. Got some YouTube videos coming out too.
They've come back.
They're back talking about burpee broad jumps this week. 4 different ways to do them.
Keep popping up on my suggested.
Do they? Nice.
Broad jumps for Hyrox.
It's working. Mm-hmm. I guess I got the SEO piece working for me.
Click show me less from this channel.
Inappropriate content.
Flag it.
Who's winning Celtics BK? Celtics, Sixers. Objectively not what you want to happen.
I think it's the closest series in terms of actual matching up. You got to go with who's hot. I think Philly. You've got closers right now, and the Celtics should, but they're not winning the tight ones.
They're butter soft.
They're barely losing.
Yeah. You keep saying that and Nick is saying it, that people are soft in the playoffs. I think only the Bucks turned out to be soft.
Well, yes.
Boston's gritty as it comes.
No way.
I don't see how they're soft.
They made the finals last year.
They
also
play hard defense. Like, what does soft mean? They don't back down from the moment.
I mean, they have so much more talent than the Sixers. And then when it comes down to winning time, no one's there to seize it. Well, yeah.
That doesn't make you soft. It means they're missing shots.
They don't want to win. They don't know how to do it.
Is Harden putting up, low teens, or is he going to put up 40?
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Depends on what kind of night he had in Vegas. So I mean,
true.
the Sixers are incredibly frustrating to watch, and I don't know with the schedule as it starts to ramp up like this, like it's not good for Joel.
I mean, whoever wins this is winning the East. Like,
I don't know. Jimmy Butler's just that guy.
Okay, if we talk who's not soft,
Right?
Heat are not soft.
Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler's not soft.
That's true.
He's Marquette. That's Milwaukee boy.
That's right. That's right. Well, he is. Where is he from?
I don't know where he's from. Went JUCO.
That's right. He has an interesting story.
3 transfers.
Yeah.
Gets to the league. Got the dog in him.
And he's transferring.
I mean,
from
that's
protein
Milwaukee's
to protein
right there.
That's all. Marquette. Like, what is that? It's a Jesuit institution. He's brought like all white kids on campus.
Nah.
No, at Marquette.
No. Marquette's downtown Milwaukee.
St. Joseph's is like in Philadelphia. Doesn't mean there was not all white kids on campus. It's like also Jesuit institution, probably priced $70,000 a year in freaking Marquette. I like Jimmy Butler.
Listen, don't trash Marquette.
Yeah.
Of all the schools in Wisconsin, that's who I root for the most.
All right.
Is Jokic is he soft, or is the owner on the Suns?
Damn,
Ishbia got be soft.
Ishbia got bodied, dude. He played at Michigan State, so he's
he sat on the bench. Michigan State.
If you make the team at any like big program, like you're probably pretty good.
Yeah. First of all, this was like
not like Tom Izzo was still there.
Yeah, I think it was a little. I think he was an advanced water boy.
But like you still
I understand what
tried
you're
out.
saying.
He still made the team. I couldn't have done that. BK, could you have made a single D1 team?
No. Well, women's.
Potentially women's. Right.
Yeah. I could have played Power 5 women's.
Yeah, potentially. Okay.
Just off hustle and athleticism. Not off skill.
Just on the ground.
One dunk a year. Put me on Sports Center.
Be a pest. Yep.
Booker's not soft.
He maybe has exceeded his label more than anyone in my generation. From soft, empty scorer to that guy.
Mm-hmm. He has willed it.
He's shooting like 71% this series.
That's crazy.
I don't want the Suns to win.
Me too.
Don't.
14 for 18 last game.
Craziness. Like, is that sustainable?
As a jump shot shooter.
That's why I worry about that's what I'm hoping for the Suns, because I don't worry about them at all. I hope they get waxed.
Yeah.
Because like just the whole Kevin Durant, his whole session also soft. But like, can they be that sustainable in terms of how hot they've had to been? Like,
do they have to be?
Well, yeah. That's all they got. I mean,
then Durant just starts shooting more.
Well, the last game that they won, they have like 85 points combined or something crazy. It's like they
what
have
was his
to
season?
Both be good.
He was 50, 40, 40.
He was the first ever you mentioned. I remember that.
Who, Durant?
50, 40, 45 or 90, 50, 45.
55, 45, I thought.
55, yeah, something crazy. I mean, his regression to his average or to the mean is above anyone else.
Still really good. Yeah.
He can cool off and go
historical.
Historical.
Yeah.
Right. But
Paul's not even playing.
And they've been better.
I'm actually thinking that the Lakers, they're going to win in 5. They'll win this next one and then get a break. And that's going to help them a lot. And like LeBron having that off time for dealing with his injury for like a month earlier this year. I think they're gaining some momentum.
I know. I can't believe they won last night.
Yeah.
Their 2 can match up against anyone's 2. And they can all guard 1 through 4, 1 through 5.
Yeah.
It'd be a tough matchup for Denver because they got such big bodies.
Yeah,
because I think AD will eat up whoever Denver wants to put on him.
Yeah, because we know Jokic ain't guarding nobody. But that's the thing too. Like AD shows up, he's like Harden kind of. Like sometimes he plays super hard and is really
aggressive. You're gonna get 35 and 18 or not.
Yeah, or he's super passive. And
the difference is at 6'10", you can be passive and still rebound and alter shots.
Mm-hmm. That was interesting what Golden State was doing with him last night, putting him in that pick and roll at the top and then just cooking him. They really were.
The Lakers have the worst backside help and cutter defense I've watched in the playoffs in a long time. They gave up so many cuts and backdoor layups. Outrageous.
Well,
LeBron's not trying anymore off ball.
He's pacing himself, dude. He's like,
I mean, it's
load management.
He load manages on the court. Yeah, but when they pull AD out of the paint, it's open. But when they have him on Draymond and they're sinking back, that's why I can't believe they won. That's bad for the Warriors.
Yep.
Well, the Warriors are the only team left with non-shooting bigs. Every other team has shooting bigs. Like Bam is
good mid range. Yeah.
10 times the shooter that any one of the bigs on the Warriors are. So there are no more.
He's not pulling up from three.
There are no more easy matchups for the Lakers to turn to and be like, well, we don't have to guard their bigs anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
I still think rest is going to help them. Realistically.
Well, I mean, if you put Ayton on the floor, Ayton probably won't play as much. He's got like a 15-footer, but like,
yeah, if he can push it,
that's not stressing. Yeah, that's not stretching the floor. All right. Well, this is what people wanted. We gave them all the NBA talk. So everyone's caught up on all the things that matter.
Are you betting NBA?
I do live betting. So and NBA is great for it because the swings are so crazy.
Huge.
So a team could be down 20.
An 11-point run.
The live spread could be 18 and a half. I'm like, great. So that's what I do. I just like play the trends of the game because I don't really have a good sense of what's going to actually happen during.
It's hard because everyone scores 120 points these games.
Everyone's so good at basketball.
Yeah.
Like they're going to
What
score.
would you say you are for the year on average? How do you do with sports betting?
Poor.
You can look at the bank account and get your answer.
Well, and she's cool with that?
Well, I mean, I had
one of these days it'll work out.
I do tell her that I could just like she doesn't know, but I do fill her in. But I switched banks and I lost a bunch in a row, and now my new bank doesn't allow like deposits into live gambling sites. So I had like $3.15. So now I'm putting out like 35-cent bets and like only picking my spots.
If you or a loved one struggles with gambling, call 1-800.
Yeah, she made him switch banks to protect him.
I would never put like money on these things. Like that's not how I roll. I just like to be involved a little bit. And what's the other thing? I put money on Embiid for MVP. So now I have like $30 in the account. But I'm still gonna bet like
with house money.
15 cents at a time.
We're totally gonna be able to fund that OCR, the OCR prize purse next year with this.
We got to come up with odds. I've been talking to Riker about Hyrox odds. So we got to come up with those things. Kick that around. I think it's plus 10,000 for any Euro to be on the podium.
Plus 10,000?
Yeah.
I would take that in a heartbeat.
Easy money.
I think they're going to sweep.
Euros are going to sweep.
Sweep.
Stop
Sweep.
this.
They have so many chips on their shoulder. Home cooking.
You know who's gonna win? Alphonse is gonna win, and he's gonna be like, he's gonna rip off a Rich Ryan hater shirt.
Alphonse is that dude. He's not qualified through. He's out. He's
Schiller
way out.
will then. Someone will.
Schiller. That'd be plus. What's the largest number, Jack? Plus infinity.
Google. Yeah.
I saw plus 1,600 in a fight once.
Oof.
Maybe plus 3,000 against Cyborg or what's her name? Rousey back in the day. You saw some crazy ones like that.
No, when like the Browns went 0-16, they did not have good odds. Like that's probably like 10,000.
You're talking team sports over a season. We're not talking one-off event.
Because those are just like impossibilities. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is well off the rails.
We're out off the rails and we're out of here.
Big Bear next week.
Big Bear draft next week.